coast into Louisiana, down into Florida. Could be a couple of strong storms to make things just a little bit miserable. Windy travel, a little bit gusty across the upper Great Lakes, perhaps gusting about 30 miles per hour. And fog is not a big problem, but it is up in the Hudson Valley of the northeast, down into Atlantic City, New Jersey, and around Newport along the Oregon coast, and down towards Galveston, Texas. A little bit of fog, but across the nation's heartland, fog is definitely not a problem today.
Michelin tires are part of today's lifestyles.
You married Alan the hunk!
Sometimes I really miss the old days.
You own what company?
Is he Olympic material? Just look at that stride.
And there's my little angel, Laurie!
Michelin, Sportline, or Light Truck Series, in a class by itself.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel. The current conditions. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
Good morning, everyone. It's 2 minutes before the top of the hour. This is your morning report. I'm Liz Jarvis, here with Bruce Edwards and Carl Arredondo. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Liz. Good morning, everyone. Temperatures across the west, not bad. It's going to be another warm one, especially in the southwest. Bruce.
But over the next couple of days, could see at least a little bit of light rain over the Pacific Northwest. We'll look at that probability in a few minutes.
Okie dokie. Well, stay tuned. Marine biologists say contamination from the Alaskan oil spill may remain in the environment for up to 10 years. The state's Environmental Conservation Commissioner says that the area will never be the same. The weather hasn't been the same out west over the past week. In California, residents are enjoying a cool break after last week's heat wave. In Los Angeles, California, Thursday's high temperature only reached 74 degrees, a welcome change from last week's triple-digit heat that claimed 2 lives. Sunshine will remain abundant in the LA Basin through Saturday. In Jackson, Tennessee, temperatures in the 70s are a definite warm-up from their bout with wintry weather at the start of the week. More spring-like conditions are in the forecast with the threat of thunder showers through Saturday. Thunderstorms have been booming in southeast Texas, while strong storms in Florida Thursday afternoon are blamed for spawning a tornado and triggering golf ball-sized hail between Lakeland and Arredondo. A series of winter-like storms in the northeast have had little effect on the mid-Atlantic and southeastern states. Plenty of sunshine in Washington, D.C. greeted members of the Soviet national baseball team for their visit with the Bushes on Thursday. Coming up now on 21 before the top of the coming up now on the top of the hour. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's time for this morning's weather, sponsored by 100% Colombian coffee, the richest coffee in the world, hand-picked by Juan Valdez. Now here's Bruce.
Thank you, Liz. We get on top of the world and look from the satellite vantage point at the cloud cover and the moisture spreading over Texas and the central Gulf states and the thunderstorms rumbling there. To the southeast, looking pretty good right now, but we will see clouds on the increase as the day progresses, as this moisture begins its trek towards the east. Still some clouds over the northern portions of New England. As we work our way on to the upper Midwest, another front coming through, bringing with it a mixture of rain and a little bit of snow, and actually a little sleet is also being reported around Alpena, Michigan. To the west, that high pressure area continues to shun the moisture up to the north, but the ridge is beginning to weaken somewhat, and as it does, we're looking for some of this moisture out here in the Pacific to at least strafe the coast of Washington and Oregon later on through the weekend, and there are still low clouds hanging in, and as a matter of fact, intermittent drizzle along the northern central California coast as well as into the Oregon coast. Alameda reporting a little drizzle, but all is quiet over the southwest. Close inspection of that satellite view shows the moisture with another low sweeping out here. And again, that's going to come working its way on to the northeast as the day progresses. We do have some cloud cover, and again, there's intermittent drizzle and some coastal fog into Oregon and northern California. North Bend, Oregon has seen a little drizzle through the course of this morning, and right now Alameda, California, a little drizzle, but by and large, we're talking very quiet weather once again through the region with temperatures comfortable, not even overly cool anywhere across the western third of the country. 48 in Boise, 45 Salt Lake City, 58 in Tucson, Arizona, LA checking in with 59 degrees. The upper Midwest, though, temperatures there not bad at all as the front is now pushing through. Some of the coldest air around Sault Ste. Marie where there's some moderate snow falling and 33 degrees. But other than that, 48 in Omaha, Dubuque is at 46, 48 in Milwaukee. Seen a few showers in Beertown this morning. St. Louis at 49 degrees right now. And there's your front draped across the Midwest, but not a lot of moisture with it. There are some scattered light showers in and around Chicagoland right now to Muskegon, Michigan to Saginaw. But we're getting some sleet mixing in with the rain around Alpena. And as we mentioned, some moderate snow around Sault Ste. Marie, also around Bismarck and Jamestown, a little bit of light rain. But we'll see some snow begin to return to the northern portions of Michigan, but light snow later on today. Meanwhile, a little low and through the St. Lawrence River Valley, causing a little snow around Burlington, Vermont. Some patchy fog still persist around Montpelier, Vermont, and also down towards Millville, New Jersey, Dover, Delaware, and a little light sprinkle of rain being reported now at Portland, Maine. However, those southwesterly winds in the Ohio Valley will modify temperatures nicely before the front arrives with the clouds and the showers later today. The numbers, 37 in Hartford right now, a cold rain and 35 in Portland, while the best location in the nation, Cleveland, Ohio, at a cool 34 degrees. 76 right now in Miami, Jacksonville at 58, but as we head into the lower Mississippi Valley, it's getting increasingly moist. Shreveport, some rain around at 54, showery in Houston and 57 right now. A little bit of drizzle, but a mild 65 in Corpus Christi. The heaviest of the storms has pushed off into the Gulf right now. Generally, we're looking at light drizzle in southern Texas and some moderate showers around Longview and in through the Arklatex. That's where the rain is the heaviest right now, spreading into Greenville, Mississippi, and north to Jonesboro and Harrison, Arkansas. There you have it once again. The National Digital Radar depicts the moisture. We've got one action radar that will take us to Galveston, Texas. Yes, we do have it. Let's take a look at the action radar out of Galveston. Again, we can see a slow eastward movement of some showers and a few embedded thunderstorms heading for Beaumont, Texas. Other rain in the Gulf moving on offshore. It is heading east at 25. We take a look at the airports, and so far, so good. No delays reported in the east nor in the west, but it could slow down a bit in and around Houston.
I love you.
Champagne is now being served on the after deck.
By the way, when will your inheritance come through?
Lobster is now being served on the promenade deck.
I love your villa at Monte Carlo.
Colombian coffee is now being served in the starboard side lounge.
No wonder so many people's preferences lean toward 100% Colombian coffee. It's the richest coffee in the world, handpicked by Juan Valdez.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
5 minutes past the top of the hour, Bruce Edwards has the scoop on the Boat and Beach Report.
That's right. All in all, not too bad as far as boaters are concerned, with a couple of exceptions. One is into the Great Lakes with that front coming through. Winds over Lake Superior and Michigan at times are going to top 25 miles an hour. And that could also be the case later this afternoon over Lake Erie as the front approaches. But along the Atlantic seaboard, light winds generally. And sunshine will abound later on today from southern Connecticut and Long Island Sound down to the tidewater of Virginia, but very limited in the lakes with that front approaching. Sunshine also will be quite evident down to Little River Inlet and also over extreme South Florida. Florida, but with the Gulf and that showers and storms pushing eastward, limited amounts of sunshine, occasionally gusty winds and thunderstorms, but overall we're talking about light winds in the Gulf and the South Atlantic, as well as much as the Pacific coast, until we get to Astoria, Oregon. There north we'll have winds about 15 to 25 miles per hour, and overall we'll see sunny skies prevail across the western United States, with the exception of right along the immediate California coast and north into Oregon and Washington. With the onshore flow, a few more clouds will hang in.
Doctors measure back pain by how far you can bend. Extra Strength Dones is made for back pain relief with an ingredient these pain relievers don't have. Dones makes back pain go away. Extra Strength Dones, made for back pain relief.
6 past the top of the hour. Time to say good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Liz, and good morning, everyone. As we check on your forecast, the western United States fairly dry again for the midday hour. We do have that ridge of high pressure still in control across the west. A weak front will move towards the Puget Sound, maybe tonight, tomorrow morning, produce a few scattered showers. However, basically dry through the Rockies and the Plain states, where precipitation just not expected. Temperature-wise, again, on the hot side, 98 was a hot spot of the nation yesterday in Palm Springs. And looking at the 80s all the way into the Sacramento Valley towards Stockton and Sacramento, while 60s around Denver and into parts of Texas, temperatures in the 70s. The upper Midwest, a cool front will make its way through the area. The rain will begin to end later this morning and this afternoon around Chicago and spread into South Bend and Toledo, Ohio, with more scattered showers pushing into Tennessee through today. However, the snow and the rain will be on the light side across the UP of Michigan and northern lower Michigan, with the temperatures the coolest up towards Alexandria in Minnesota at 40 and 60s and 70s across the Plain States. The Northeast, well, basically dry for this morning. A few light snow flurries this morning around Concord, New Hampshire, but clouds are increasing as this system works its way towards New England, and a few sprinkles of rain heading towards parts of the Carolinas throughout the afternoon hours. As far as rain or snow, not much expected through New England, with temperatures on the mild side, so maybe a nice day to take the lunch outside around Central Park on around the nation's capital, temperatures in the 60s. Southeast, one more nice day of great sunshine into the Carolinas and Georgia, but the moisture in the clouds are increasing as the afternoon wears on. Even parts of Florida could find a shower or a thunder shower. Heaviest of rain in parts of Texas, where around Liberty and Montgomery counties, some thunderstorms are producing 3 to 4 inches of rainfall there, and we have seen some beneficial rain for parts of southeastern Texas. 60s and 70s with the warmer temperatures in Florida. The big picture for this afternoon through tomorrow morning, looking at the eastern United States with the wet weather.
Instead of spending your weekend cutting the green, get a great weekend rate from Avis and save some green. Avis, we try harder to make it easier. How do you get a well-equipped late model Avis car with absolutely unlimited mileage? No matter how long you keep it, you buy it from Avis Car Sales. Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
The regional forecast. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more local information here on the Weather Channel.
In 1985, the mercury topped out at 100 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, that year, it was the earliest that high temperature had ever been recorded in Phoenix. Of course, last week, we shattered that record with topping out in triple digits many times over the weekend. Now it's time to take a look at your business travel forecast. It's sponsored by Audi. Conform to the road, not the rules. Audi, the alternate route.
AT Quattro. A car that sticks to the road, not to the rules. Because it assigns power to whatever wheels need it, whenever they need it. Ample reward for resisting the commonplace and taking the alternate route.
See your local Audi dealer.
Only a few days left to take advantage of this special offer from AT&T. Listen.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance.
And that's not all. With AT&T Pro Watts, no special lines or equipment are needed. Get distance-sensitive pricing, get a detailed record of individual calls, and you save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call 1-800-222-0400. Remember, we'll pay to switch you over. We'll pay the installation fee, and if you're not satisfied, we'll pay to switch you back. Call now. Pro Watts offer ends April 15th.
Stay tuned for the Days In 5-Day Business Planner, keeping track of storm systems, hazardous weather, and poor road conditions that may affect your business travel. The Days In 5-Day Business Planner coming up in just a few minutes right here on the Weather Channel.
The current conditions. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
Fiesta Week begins in San Antonio, Texas today, and there's lots of festivals all across the country. Bruce has our weekend outlook.
All righty, we do, and for most of the country, it should be a pretty good-looking weekend. We'll look at the jet stream right now, and we still see that ridge in the west. It is going to flatten a little bit, and that will allow some moisture to return to the northwest coastal region, but generally we'll still talk about dry weather across the west, while the trough in the east will continue to push a little bit of wet weather that is now in the plains to the Atlantic seaboard. Let's take a look at the specifics now. Temperatures, again, can even heat up more across southern desert areas of California and Arizona into the triple-digit figures. We'll see 90s up to Vegas and the 80s in the Central Valleys and the Great Basin, 70s and 60s into the northwest, while temperatures will still be quite mild and seasonable across much of the rest of the country on Saturday. But again, the soggy stuff up and down the Atlantic seaboard as that moisture rides to the northeast, showers, rain, maybe a thunderstorm over the extreme southeastern Gulf states. But the rest of the country dry on Saturday. And on Sunday, the west will remain dry, but we will see a little system draped across the Great Lakes again. So that means a threat of a few more showers, while South Florida and the coast of New England will have a mixture of some rain, possibly some snow up in the mountains. And temperatures will cool down with the clouds and the unsettled weather to the northeast, but the southern plains warm up significantly with the 70s and 80s bowing northward. More triple-digit heat in the southwest.
Gee, Ollie, this windshield's so messy, I can't see. We need new wiper blades.
I know that.
Make sure your windshield wipers work when you need them. Get a new set of Anco blades at least once a year and see what you've been missing.
Ollie, without new Anco wipers, we could have been hit by that piano. Oh. Piano! No!
No matter what the weather, rain, sleet, or snow, Anco has the right wiper blade to see your way clear.
And to clear your way for travel today, here's Carl.
Well, most of the rough weather will probably be in parts of Texas and Louisiana. Big thunderstorms rolling through Corpus Christi this morning, producing an inch of rain in just 1 hour's time. Parts of Liberty and Montgomery counties reporting rainfall amounts of 3 to 4 inches. So We are finding some beneficial rains, especially for southeastern Texas, which finished 1988 about 20 inches below normal. Rainy weather in the lower Mississippi River Valley, parts of Florida, and up towards Michigan, we are finding a little bit in the way of wet weather. Strong thunderstorms a possibility here in parts of Texas, Louisiana, and even Florida, where yesterday a tornado was reported around Lakeland, Florida. Into the windy weather, the Great Lakes with that system scooting across, winds could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour. And patches of fog here and there in the northeast, parts of Texas, and the western seaboard, so take it slow and use the low beam. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Rubbermaid waste cans are built to withstand an accidental, an occasional, and still bounce back for more. Don't you wish everything was made like Rubbermaid?
We'll have the long-range forecast through Tuesday coming up in a few minutes. Right now, here's your local forecast, sponsored by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
Hey, Phil, it's Ross. Your bid came in this morning. How soon can you come down for a face-to-face?
Hi, Philip. I need you here for some planning meetings. Just let me know when you're
Business is tough. The least your airline can do is make sure that business travel isn't. That's why United offers the most service across the U.S. and the Pacific. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Hey, Phil, I sure hope you haven't unpacked your bags yet, pal.
United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. For reservations, call United Airlines or your local travel agent. The Morning Report with Liz Jarvis.
Good morning, everyone. It's 19 minutes past the top of the hour on this Friday, April 14th. I'm here with Bruce Edwards and Carl Arredondo. Spring thunderstorms in Florida are blamed for spawning a tornado near Lakeland and Arredondo. The afternoon storms are also blamed for triggering golf ball-sized hail. There are no reports of major damage or injuries. Snow showers have been falling this morning in portions of northern New England, and it's been freezing in portions of Maryland and the Virginias. After pleasant weather conditions in the nation's capital Thursday, clear skies overnight have been letting that warmth escape back into the atmosphere. Yesterday's sunshine was perfect for a surprise visit from the Soviet national baseball team. The athletes met with President and Mrs. Bush on the south lawn of the White House. After a bout with winter-like weather across the southeast, spring returns. The afternoon breaks of sunshine in Jackson, Tennessee, shot the temperature up to 70 degrees. More typical spring weather is on tap through Saturday as thunder showers are in the forecast. While temperatures in the 70s are a warm change for the east, out west, the 74-degree reading in Los Angeles is significantly cooler than last week's record-breaking heat. Sunshine will be abundant through Saturday across the LA basin. Great time to get out and enjoy some of that sunshine. We invite you to stay tuned for the day's 5-day business planner, America's Waking Up, today's inns, hotels, and suites. Here's Bruce Edwards.
As we take a look at the weather maps over the next 24 hours, not a whole lot of change in the west, although we will be watching this little front drop across British Columbia, and it'll be bringing some clouds to Washington and Oregon and a few light coastal showers, which is good news. It's been pretty dry for a while there. Major story, though, will be all this moisture into Texas and the lower Mississippi Valley. That'll be advancing into the east and phasing in with this front that'll be moving to the east, and what it'll spell is a little damp weather along the eastern third of the nation as we work our way on into tomorrow morning, with showers scattered about and maybe even a thunderstorm near the Gulf Coast and the Florida Panhandle tomorrow. High pressure going to clear things out of the lakes, cool things off again just a little bit. while the west pretty tranquil, but there's that front finally making it some inroads, and that means a few scattered showers into the northwest. For today's highs, again, more heat in the west, no appreciable change here. 70s, 80s, and 90s dominating. We find seasonable readings in the southeast, but still a little cold up in Maine. Coldest weather tomorrow morning will be behind the front in the northern plains, lows dropping into the 20s there, but seasonably cool elsewhere. And then on Saturday, we'll see things begin to warm up a bit across the western plains while the cool air sweeps on to the east. The triple-digit heat will return again this weekend as portions of southern Arizona and California. But you notice how we get a wee bit of a cooling trend with some 50s and 60s in the northwest with some of the moisture, while the plain states really begin to heat up nicely on Sunday, and that continues to work its way generally towards the east. And by Tuesday, another system will bring some clouds and wet weather to the Great Lakes and a return to those cool 30 and 40-degree high temperatures, while much of the rest of the country will be fairly seasonable and cools down a bit over the northwest coast by Tuesday as well. Now, there's your wet weather on Saturday with all that moisture, showers from Maine to northern Florida. And then as we work our way into Sunday, another little system to the Great Lakes will again bring a mixture of some rain and snow in northern Michigan, but generally rain will be the ruling precipitation pattern. On Monday, a few sprinkles across the eastern portions of New York State, then another little system drops some showers into the plains, and again the northwest will see some showers along the coast, and then by Tuesday this system gains a little bit more moisture from the Gulf and slides east, and so that's where we'll have the wet weather and a persistent showery pattern over the northwest coast. Now let's update your regional weather.
Call about Day's Simple Super Saver program. Restrictions do apply, and Simple Super Saver rooms are limited, so call now. Well, lingering spring breakers in Florida may need the umbrella today. Carl will have the latest on the current weather after your local forecast.
If you're doing business, you probably have one of these, the American Express card. And if you're away from home to do that business, you're probably staying at one of these, Days Inns, Hotels, and Suites. Just last year, we saw over 2 million American Express card members at Days Inns, nearly twice as many as the year before. The way I see it, by next year, you'll have no business staying anywhere else.
Call 800-325-2525 for reservations at Days locations nationwide.
The regional forecast. The 36-hour forecast. Information here on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to the Weather Channel. 24 minutes past the top of the hour. Topside we go, and we'll check out the satellite view of the east. Watching parts of Texas, the lower Mississippi River Valley, that's where all the showers and thunderstorms will be for today. Still a little bit in the way of light rain and snow up towards New England, and another system bringing some light rain passing through Chicago. As we check out the western United States, here comes some more moisture, but overall not much in the way of a lot of precipitation until tonight and tomorrow morning, when we could find some showers around the Puget Sound. But across the southwest, again, very warm and with sunny skies. Underneath the clouds, we'll show you the radar map, and Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas finding most of the rain and showers and thunderstorms. 2 local radar stops. First one will take us out of Marseille in Illinois. Scattered light rain up towards Rockford and into parts of Chicago with some light rain. It's moving eastward. Next stop will take us out of West Palm Beach. Ground clutter around the radar side, but look offshore. Scattered showers and some thunderstorms here, and they're showing very little movement at the present time, but we could find a few scattered showers along the southern coast of Florida. As we check out the temperatures, not that bad. 59 in Burbank, 47 in Boise. with fairly dry weather. We have had some drizzle around North Bend, Oregon, but that's since ended with the clouds here and there. The big system's offshore. It'll be moving on into parts of Washington later on tonight and tomorrow, bringing, again, the rain showers for tonight and tomorrow. Southwest dry and again warm until the upper Mississippi River Valley. That's where we're finding some rain. Around Chicago, on into Muskegon and Pellston, finding some rain also. We've had some snow this morning around International Falls, where temperatures are now just above the freezing mark. Chicago with some light rain at 46, 43 in Cincinnati. There's a cold front. It'll work its way on eastward, still bringing the rain as it presses through the Great Lakes. And some cooler air heading southward will bring temperatures today only in the 40s across northern Minnesota. Light snow around Bangor, Maine, and also around Burlington, Vermont. Portland with some light rain, but the snow will continue around Burlington for the next couple of hours as a weak system works its way eastward. Otherwise, high pressure and control with temperatures in Baltimore, 47 this morning, around Toledo at 41, 35 in Buffalo. And there are the clouds with the system as it works its way eastward, even some clouds around the Green and White Mountains. To the south, that's where all the showers and thunderstorms are. Some of the rain has been heavy. Around Kingsville, almost 3 inches of rain. Stephenville, over 2. Corpus Christi, 1 3/4 inches. Very welcomed rain in parts of South Texas that are very, very dry. San Antonio, 54 with some light drizzle. 56 in Atlanta, Georgia. And rain pushing into Memphis, Tennessee, and Blytheville in Arkansas. The big picture once again, if you're heading out to the airports this morning, reporting no delays in the east. However, in the western United States, we are reporting some delays around Dallas and Fort Worth with some drizzle, light rain, and low ceilings. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Just think of having the convenience of a copier and a fax machine right in your office. Not enough space? Too much money? Not anymore. With the Murata M1200, you've got a high-speed fax machine, an office copier, and a full-feature telephone in one compact, low-cost unit that takes up less space than a standard typewriter. With the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier, you won't be losing time traveling back and forth to a copy fax center. And the M1200 is so inexpensive, you can afford to keep one at home for those rare occasions when you've left an important document behind. Like all Murata products, the M1200 is reliable and backed by great service and support. For a limited time, the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier is specially priced at only $675. Call MJP at 1-800-937-9393 now for complete details with no obligation. That's 1-800-937-9393 for more information about the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier. Call now.
The current conditions. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
29 and a half past the top of the hour. Time to say good morning with our forecast and Bruce Edwards.
Thank you, Liz, and good morning, everyone. It's going to be a pretty nice day across the western U.S. What else is new? You've sort of gotten used to the pleasant weather. It's been rather cool the last few days because of the marine layer hanging into the L.A. basin, and that's kept the clouds overhead. But that's going to be relinquishing somewhat, and we'll get a little more of a flow off the desert, so it'll be a little warmer temperatures for today. And look at this. A front appears on the horizon. That'll be approaching the northwest coast and could bring a threat of some light showers through the course of the weekend. But for today, coastal drizzle about the best you can hope for. Otherwise, dry, sunny weather will prevail with temperatures again in the 80s and 90s into the southwest, 80s, Sacramento and San Joaquin Valley. And look at those 70s, just about encompassing the entire western third of the nation. Looking very comfortable. Upper Midwest, we'll see some colder northerly winds, a little snow in the upper Midwest, and the showers accompanying this front will be very light and widely scattered. No real significant rains until we get into portions of lower Michigan. You might see 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 inch, but most of the rain is light, and the snows are light as well. Might see 1 inch or so in the upper peninsula and the Keweenaw Peninsula of Michigan with the cooler air behind the front, but a pleasant spring afternoon ahead of the front with 60s and 70s for afternoon highs through the plains into the Ohio River Valley. There's the front again coming through Michigan. It'll be bringing some increasing clouds and rather gusty winds out of the southwest ahead of the front, but again, it's out of the proper direction, so that'll warm things up, while high pressure over the northeast will continue to work on out. We'll see some clouds increasing ahead of the system, but generally a dry day across the New England states, and we're talking about some comfortable temperatures overall with 50s into the lakes, 60s Ohio Valley and mid-Atlantic, but still cold in northern New England with 30s and 40s. To the southeast now, scattered thunderstorms with a stationary front in central Florida, but that Gulf moisture riding into Texas, now spreading northeast with clouds on the increase this afternoon into Georgia and South Carolina, but the heaviest rains Texas, Louisiana Gulf Coast with an inch or perhaps even a bit more. Seasonable temperatures in the 70s and 80s. The big picture again shows that moisture spreads rapidly east overnight tonight and tomorrow morning with scattered rains from New York State south to the Gulf Coast, but the rest of the country will remain dry.
This is it. Your day in the sun. You've got talent, experience, and equipment you can depend on. Charcoal made with premium woods to bring power and consistency to your game. Then, and only then, can you bask in the glow of victory. Kingsford Charcoal, what the pros use.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. For more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
27 before the top of the hour now. Wondering what the forecast is like for 18 major cities across the country? Wonder no longer. Now it's time for your business travel forecast, sponsored by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
How soon can you come down for a face-to-face?
Hi, Philip. I need you here for some planning meetings. Just let me know when you're
Business is tough. The least your airline can do is make sure that business travel isn't. That's why United offers the most service across the U.S. and the Pacific. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Hey, Phil, I sure hope you haven't unpacked your bags yet, pal.
United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. For reservations, call United Airlines or your local travel agent.
Here's today's forecast. Just in case you missed your favorite city, here's Carl.
Thank you, Liz. As we check on the big picture, first of all, and looking at the south, that's where all the showers and thunderstorms will be for today. A few light showers and some drizzle from St. Louis on northward to Detroit later by the midday hour as this system works its way eastward very slowly. The eastern seaboard fairly dry, but clouds increasing in the southeast. The southwest dry and warm again, and the clouds will increase in the northwest with that system offshore. Temperatures not that bad across the nation, the 40s and the 50s across the extreme north, the 90s and maybe 1 or 2 100s in the southwest, but 60s and 70s across much of the southeast and the lower Mississippi River Valley. Stay tuned. Coming up, some weather highlights and a look at the current weather with an action radar out of Galveston.
Great, Ray. That's a wrap.
Huh? California sunshine. California sunshine. Whoa! The grapevine. Yeah, I heard it through the grapevine.
That's sweet.
Look for the California Raisin display in your favorite store and send for your California Raisin figurine.
The regional forecast. The 36-hour forecast. Local information here on the Weather Channel.
Now, the Morning Report with Liz Jarvis.
Good morning, everyone. It's 22 minutes before the top of the hour. I'm here with Carl Arredondo and Bruce Edwards. Marine biologists say contamination from the Alaskan oil spill may remain in the environment for up to 10 years. The state's Environmental Conservation Commissioner says the area will never be the same. The weather hasn't been the same out west over the past week. In California, residents are enjoying a cool break after last week's heat wave. In Los Angeles, Thursday's high temperature only reached 74 degrees, a welcome change from last week's triple-digit heat that claimed 2 lives. Sunshine will remain abundant in the LA Basin through Saturday. In Jackson, Tennessee, temperatures in the 70s are a definite warm-up from their bout with wintry weather at the start of the week. More spring-like conditions are in the forecast with the threat of thunder showers through Saturday. Thunderstorms have been booming in southeast Texas, while strong storms in Florida Thursday afternoon are blamed for spawning a tornado and triggering golf ball-sized hail between Lakeland and Auburndale. A series of winter-like storms in the northeast have had little effect on the mid-Atlantic and the southeastern states. Plenty of sunshine in Washington, D.C. greeted members of the Soviet national baseball team Thursday for their visit with the Bushes. Coming up now on 21 before the top of the hour, time to take a look at Waking Up Weather, sponsored by mountain-grown Folgers Coffee. Folgers, the best part of waking up. Here's Carl.
Thank you, Liz. As we check on the satellite view, the parts of Texas and the lower Mississippi River Valley finding most of the showers and thunderstorm activity here, as the rainfall amounts total between 3 to 4 inches in parts of Liberty and Montgomery counties, while the eastern United States on the dry side, as we are finding some rain showers into parts of the Great Lakes regions, but that's just on the light side. As we check the west, very dry across the southwest, maybe a little bit in the way of some fog here and there, but some drizzle this morning in North Bend, Oregon, the bigger system offshore, and that'll make its way inland into the Puget Sound by tonight and tomorrow morning. As we look at the radar map, showers and thunderstorms in the lower Mississippi River Valley, some light rain into the Great Lakes around Chicago, and also some light rain and some snow in sections of Maine. One radar stop, well, we don't have that radar stop. Well, let's go on to the western United States. We're looking at the dry conditions across the western seaboard. We had some drizzle this morning in North Bend, Oregon. Temperatures not that bad. 47 in Salt Lake City, 37 in Billings, and also 59 around Burbank. Clouds in the northwest, but clear, and it's going to be warm in the southwest. Next system right here in the upper Mississippi River Valley, and the showers and thunderstorms across the south. We got one action radar. Let's show you the radar out of Galveston, Texas, as we find the showers and thunderstorms advancing eastward. Parts of Liberty and Montgomery County finding quite a bit in the way of rainfall. Houston with some showers this morning, College Station. Big thunderstorms rolled through Corpus Christi and produced 1 inch of rain in 1 hour's time, and they continue to advance on eastward. As we check out the situation again at the temperatures, 50 in Dallas, some light drizzle in San Antonio, 54 for the beginning of Fiesta Week, a damp start, but Most of the week should be nice. 56 in Atlanta, Georgia, 49 in Nashville, Tennessee. Rain already at Memphis, Blytheville, and Harrison, Arkansas. And the showers and thunderstorms continue in Texas and Louisiana. Some of the rainfall amounts have been heavy around Kingsville, Texas. 2 3/4 of an inch of rain, over 2 inches in Stephenville, Texas. Corpus Christi, 1 3/4 inches, and also San Antonio with over 1 inch of rainfall. The Great Lakes, here comes the next system, producing some rain around Traverse City on into Chicago and Muskegon, Michigan. Some light snow around Brunswick, Maine, with Portland, some light showers. Temperatures there near the freezing mark, 36 in Bangor, Maine, 44 in Boston, 35 in Buffalo. There's a system there, and still some low clouds into sections of New England. And with the front here, we have found some snow this morning around International Falls. Temperatures now just above the freezing mark. Chicago at 46 degrees, and we're looking at 48 in Springfield. Cincinnati at 43, and Scottsbluff, Nebraska at 31. There's a frontal system right there as it works its way eastward. Continue to produce a little bit in the way of some light rain, but we're not expecting accumulations to be very much. Maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow in the northern UP of Michigan. And the showers towards Oklahoma City, Harrison, and moving into the Volunteer State. There's a look at the big picture once again. The west dry and again very warm in the southwest. Nation's hot spot yesterday was 98 in Palm Springs, California. Showers and thunderstorms could be strong, could produce some small hailstones and gusty winds. And Florida even could see a scattered shower or thunderstorm for today. The airports this morning, no delays in the east, but in the west with the rain and the drizzle, low ceilings, some delays in Dallas. Stay tuned. Coming up, your good morning forecast.
It's your 30th birthday, girl. Is it hard to face the world? But there's Folgers to brew, that aroma's calling you.
You are finally waking up.
The best part of waking up is decaffeinated. It's Folgers in your cup.
Wake up with Mountain Grown Folgers decaffeinated. Mountain Grown beans have a more enticing aroma and richer flavor.
It's Folgers in your cup.
Fast, powerful, responsive. The CAT computer is a superior IBM-compatible personal computer with all the features you want at a price that makes buying a CAT easy. The CAT computer has 640K RAM, a 20 megabyte hard disk, a color monitor, a full keyboard, and even a mouse. The CAT computer runs all the terrific word processing, accounting, and graphics software. With a CAT computer, you can finally afford the computing power you've always wanted. To get all these features anywhere else, you'd have to spend as much as $4,000 or more. Through this special limited offer, MGP Federated is offering the CAT computer for just $999. And remember, that includes a color monitor, a mouse, and a 20 megabyte hard disk. Call the toll-free number on your screen for a free brochure. Call 1-800-937-9393 today for the powerful, affordable CAT computer.
The current conditions. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
15 minutes before the top of the hour now, and Bruce is standing by with our good morning forecast.
Hey, indeed I am, and good morning, everyone. TGIF. It's a Friday, and a good-looking Friday. You might want to work a half a day today and make it an extra long weekend, because it's going to be pleasant over the west. Again, nothing different than what you've seen in the last several days, except a few less clouds across Southern California and a little warmer temperatures. But we'll be watching this little front lurking offshore. That will be moving on late tonight and tomorrow, and that'll bring a chance for a few showers to the northwest coast. Now, we've got intermittent drizzle right now, but it's not going to amount to anything whatsoever, just along the coast. We're looking at warmth again through the interior with 70s, 80s, and again 90s in the southwest, continuing to dominate the regime. However, right along the immediate coast, we'll see some readings in the 70s, but still that's very comfortable. Upper Midwest, we'll see another clipper racing into the Great Lakes, and behind it, colder air, a little snow in upper Michigan, while along the frontal boundary, some scattered, mostly light rain showers from Michigan through the mid-Mississippi Valley. But the only significant accumulation will be in the vicinity of the lakes where the moisture is available, maybe a tenth to a half an inch of rain, closer to a tenth than a half an inch. Temperatures will cool down into the 40s again across northern Minnesota, but ahead of the front, look at those 60s and some 70s into the central and southern plain states, looking comfortable. High pressure keeping the east quiet for the day today. We'll put an end to the light rain and drizzle and the patchy fogs burning off rapidly. But as the front approaches, we'll see an increase in cloud cover over the eastern Great Lakes states today, and again some showers pushing in towards, say, Toledo, Ohio late this afternoon, Fort Wayne, Indiana, but generally light amounts of rain that are not going to amount to all that much at all. Dry through New England, and temperature is going to be mild with that southwesterly wind flow. We'll see the 60s bubbling up towards Williamsport, Pennsylvania, through much of New Jersey, 50s into southern New England, so fairly seasonable temperatures here. Same story in the Ohio Valley, those 60s running from Dayton, Ohio, through Columbus to Zanesville to Huntington, West Virginia. Scattered thunderstorms into Florida, but most of the moisture East Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi, and that will begin to ride northeastward as the day progresses. And the most substantial rains likely to be found along the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast, an inch or so there, half an inch up towards Memphis, Tennessee, and scattered amounts of a tenth to a half an inch across central and south Florida with those afternoon thunderstorms. Temperatures seasonable in the region, 70s and 80s, the dominant reports coming out this afternoon. That's your weather picture by late afternoon or early tomorrow morning. We see the rain advancing along the Atlantic seaboard. The front will bring a few sprinkles to the Pacific Northwest, dry elsewhere.
This year, thousands of people who thought they bought a house paint that would last, and last, and last, will discover what they really got for their money. The wrong paint. Make sure you get the right paint. Durable Glidden Spread House Paint, a paint that really lasts. On sale now for a low price that won't. Glidden, your paint should be this good.
The current conditions.
The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
If you're taking the plane up today, Carl has the scoop on the upper level winds and the rest of the weather affecting aviation.
That's right, especially the thunderstorms in parts of Texas and Louisiana. Winds at 2,000 feet generally light across the country, 25 to 50 knots where you see the yellow. 10,000 feet, same story with the ridge in the west. Winds are generally on the light side. As you can see, the western seaboard, 25 to 50 knots. Strongest of winds in parts of North Dakota and Montana, greater than 100 knots. Now, as far as the current weather map, there's the showers and thunderstorms into parts of Texas. Some of the tops have reached up to 48,000 feet into the atmosphere. Instrument flight rules with the low ceilings, clouds, drizzle, and rain, also in parts of Southern California and northern New England. There are the showers and thunderstorms on the radar map, heaviest right now into parts of southeastern Texas and off the coast of Brownsville at 45,000 feet. Pilots, before you take off, get that detailed weather briefing, and stay tuned. Still to come, your spring weather update.
A 61-year-old grandmother got $25,000 for a chocolate store. You may have seen me on TV getting excited about my book, Government Giveaways for Entrepreneurs. I've written over 40 books, 2 bestsellers, and this is my first book that shows how the little guy can get free help from the government to start a business. You know, Lee Iacocca and Donald Trump made millions from government money, and you can too. My book shows you how to find government programs that will give you money to start a business, give you free advice and help. There's even a service that'll match up with private investors. You know, if you have a product, this book shows you how to make the government your biggest customer. Got an invention? The government gives money to inventors. It even has mailing lists. You know, I list over 1,000 free experts here that will provide you with market studies, technical data, and even assist you with business plans. With over 500 pages, this book has more sources than you'll ever need. Of course, you must qualify, but the money is there. You can't get anything if you don't know where to look.
Government giveaways can be yours for $29.95 plus $4 shipping and handling. Call toll-free now, 1-800-942-3600. Use your major credit card and call now, 1-800-942-3600.
At 9 before the top of the hour, Bruce Edwards standing by with our spring weather update. And spring is here at last.
At long last for many sections of the country, and we're happy to report that we have spring weather. We have April showers on the map showing up over Texas. There are a few thunderstorms, but we're not anticipating any severe weather today. So that is a bit of good news, but it will be damp in the plains in the lower Mississippi Valley. That'll be gliding east. And again, we'll still be looking at a little bit of light snow across the northern Great Lakes. That is very unspring-like weather. Of course, we see the thunderstorms. Most of the heavy ones are out into the Gulf of Mexico, but we still have an occasional interspersed heavy thunderstorm you see in towards the Sabine River Valley. And the clouds increasing over Alabama right now. They'll be spreading over the southeast with the rain shortly thereafter. Here's a look at some rainfall totals in Texas over the last 24 hours. And we see Kingsville picked up 2 3/4 inches of rain. Stephenville almost over 2 inches of rain there. Corpus Christi 1 79 hundredths, and a lot of that came with some very heavy thunderstorms just a little earlier this morning. San Antonio over 1 inch of rain reported. And the outlook for the next 24 hours ending at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning is for an additional inch along the Texas-Louisiana coast, a 1/2 inch to 1 inch up towards Memphis, and some of the foothills of the Appalachians. The rain will be falling, and most of this will occur later on tonight and early tomorrow morning. You'll have a higher likelihood of moisture through that region of the country. So again, it's going to be spreading. Now, a little snow, as we mentioned, upper Midwest, but just a light dusting of maybe 1 inch or so. And most of that will be sticking on the grassy areas, not so much on the roads, because the roads are damp from early morning showers. Now let's update your local forecast.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
You had lots of rain this week. Your lawn likely needs cutting, and this Weekend Outlook is sponsored by your local John Deere dealer. Carl?
Thank you, Liz. As we check on the jet stream, first of all, the trough of low pressure remains in the eastern United States and the ridge in the west. So that means temperatures are going to remain cool in the northeast and the Great Lakes, warm and mild in the south. As Sunday comes along, still, there is a trough in the east and the ridge in the west. Temperature-wise, first of all, with the trough here, that's where the cooler temperatures are, the 40s and the 50s, and the ridge in the west, the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, and the 100s. The eastern seaboard, that's where the wet weather will be for Saturday, tax day. With the rain, you might as well stay inside and finish up with the west on the dry side, with the exception of the Puget Sound, but that dries out by Saturday or Sunday. Rain in the upper Midwest, rain in New England and South Florida as that system works its way offshore. Temperature-wise, still not a big change through Saturday and Sunday. Stay tuned, your Michelin Drivers Report coming up.
It's deer season. Time to drive a bargain with your John Deere dealer. Now you can get $100 to $300 off on riders and tractors. Or choose accessories at no extra cost. But hurry, deer season ends May 31st. See your John Deere dealer and drive home a bargain.
See the complete line of lawn and garden equipment at your local authorized John Deere dealer.
5 before the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. We'll have much more with John Doyle, Cheryl Lemke, and Bill Schubert. But right now, it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. Bruce?
Thank you, Liz. Once again, very damp across eastern Texas and on into Louisiana. Showers are extending into Arkansas and now reaching into Mississippi and western sections of Tennessee. So I-55, Interstate 30, 45, and especially Interstate 10 will be quite wet. There will definitely be showers throughout the course of the day, and that rain will be expanding east as the day progresses. Scattered showers in the Florida Peninsula today, maybe even a few strong storms across the eastern Gulf states of Texas and on into Louisiana and across central sections of Florida, so be ready for that. With a front and the low-pressure cell whipping through the Great Lakes, wind gusts down to Chicagoland will be topping 30 miles an hour from time to time. The fog is beginning to lift in the northeast, but there's still a few patchy areas through New Jersey and also along the west coast. You'll find fog restricting visibilities at times to less than half a mile. Use your low beams till the fog lifts.
I picked this career because I need a challenge. My job is demanding, but rewarding. That's why I like my new Michelin Sport EPX tires. They can handle just about any demands I make on them. If your lifestyle demands performance, the Michelin Sport EPX delivers. I rely on my tires to get me where news is happening. Great handling in any weather, when I need it.
Tonight's news was brought to you by Michelin.
Literally.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel. The current conditions. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
Morning Report with John Doyle. Good Friday morning from the Weather Channel. Cheryl Lemke is here, along with Bill Schubert.
And some interesting surprises for the weekend outlook. You might like it, Cheryl.
Some low clouds, drizzle, and fog plaguing parts of the west coast this morning, but that should be giving way to lots of sunshine this afternoon. John?
Rainfall totals in the west are as easily as much as 8 inches below normal, with just a chance of some drizzle by tomorrow in northwest Washington state. High pressure has been blocking the Pacific storms and warming temperatures again this week in the southwest. Los Angeles made the 70s Thursday after some morning haze and drizzle, looking for another warm day today. Back east, more high pressure and fair weather in Jackson, Tennessee. In the warmer air upstream from here, melting snow. The Ohio River's been flooding at Shawneeville, Illinois, and Mound City, Kentucky. More heavy rain for Texas spreading east today, but much of the country should have a sunny weekend. Fine weather for the Soviet national baseball team in Washington, D.C. yesterday to greet President and Mrs. Bush at the White House before the team begins their tour of the United States. It's the top of the hour, time for this morning's weather, sponsored by 100% Colombian coffee, the richest coffee in the world, handpicked by Juan Valdez. Here's Bill Schubert.
All right, John, as we put those clouds in motion, we have showers and storms mainly out in the Gulf of Mexico and some light rain showers moving across Louisiana, now into Memphis, Tennessee. And later on in this segment, we'll look at local radar out of Memphis. But first of all, we'll check those clouds again as they move across Oklahoma into the lower Mississippi Valley. Meanwhile, in the northeast, a little light snow as a cold front begins to move in across northern Michigan, and a little light snow falling at Burlington, Vermont. But the northwest continues to be dry. These clouds here, nothing more than high cirrus clouds. Okay, what about the airports? Any delays being reported at these 6 airports? Aha, Dallas, Fort Worth, a 40-minute delay because of some rain and fog.
Temperatures out west, Seattle, Washington, 50 degrees. Almost didn't get that word out. San Francisco at 56. Salt Lake City and Boise both at 47. Just a lot of high cirrus clouds around. And, of course, down in the Los Angeles Basin at San Diego, they're looking at 62 along with cloudy skies. And the weather is dry out west. Even the fog is gone for the most part. A little bit of low clouds in the Los Angeles Basin. A few scattered showers in North Dakota. The Northwest covered with our deck of high cirrus clouds. And around the four corners of the Southwest looking high and dry. It is cold from bringing slightly cooler air in, but it's not a big deal. And again, there is rain out in the Pacific, but it's not going anywhere because of this big ridge of high pressure. But eventually, this storm out here may make it on shore early next week to bring a chance of some more important rains. But we'll have to just live with the dry weather for the time being. As we go further to the east over the Rockies, well, here's the cold front here, bringing with it clouds, a little bit of light rain, but the heaviest rains, of course, down into the south. International Falls, Minnesota at 34 degrees above freezing, melting the snow. Bismarck at 39. Minneapolis, fair skies at 43. And as we head to Marquette, Michigan, cloudy, 36. They had a little rain earlier. It's been raining on and off at Grand Rapids, Michigan at 39. Springfield, Illinois, fair skies at 48. There's the front. It's really not doing a heck of a lot, bringing a little light rain into northern Illinois. Chicago getting some raindrops, as well as Grand Rapids, Michigan, as I just mentioned, and Traverse City, Michigan, a little rain and some ice pellets and snow mixed in from time to time. Then the northeast, it's a dry morning. It's kind of cloudy over central and eastern New England, fair skies, but the high clouds are beginning to increase in western New York. 35 with some high cirrus clouds now beginning to cover the sky a little bit in Buffalo. Albany at 38, and Boston looking good at 44. Let's see, Bangor, Maine, 36, and Baltimore, Maryland. Pretty nice day shaping up, already up to 47 degrees. Well, here's high pressure. We're getting a little snow, though, kind of a little bit of a trough of low pressure over northern New England. Light rain at Portland, Maine. Light snow at Burlington, Vermont, inland. Earlier, Concord and Laconia, New Hampshire, had a little bit of light snow. New York City looking just fine, and to the south, no problems at all. There's a satellite picture showing the clouds across much of the New England states, with thicker clouds bringing the rain and snow out across Michigan. The southeast looking fine this morning. 70 already at Tampa. Miami already 80 degrees. Oh, I'm jealous about that. Nashville at 49. Little Rock 56. New Orleans, a lot of high clouds at 61 degrees. And the weather map, well, here's the frontal system. Nothing going on in Florida, but that could change later. The showers in Texas, Dallas down to Corpus Christi, and northeast into Memphis, Tennessee. Lots of clouds here, and as we enhance it, looks nasty out in the Gulf of Mexico, and with good reason. It is. A lot of showers and storms out here. Okay, here's a look at the national weather map again and the radar. It's a busy one in the south. We have two local radars to show you. The first out of Memphis, Tennessee, indicating rain showers here, moving to the east-northeast at about 25. Our second stop will take us into Longview, Texas, or Shreveport, Louisiana. Showers here, moving off to the east at 25.
I love you.
Champagne is now being served on the after deck.
By the way, when will your inheritance come through?
Lobster is now being served on the promenade deck.
I love your villa at Monte Carlo.
Colombian coffee is now being served in the starboard side lounge.
No wonder so many people's preferences lean toward 100% Colombian coffee. It's the richest coffee in the world. Handpicked by Juan Valdez.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. More weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Headed off to the seashore. Maybe catch a little fish with Bill.
Yeah, certainly you're not going to get any sun or, you could get a suntan in the northeast days, sure, but it's too cold to sit down on the beach, but to go out fishing, looking great. The winds are light, by the way, from York, Maine, down to Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, and go out and catch a fish. Flounder in the northeast, cod and pollock offshore. Hey, maybe the Boston mackerel coming in pretty soon. I used to live up in near Connecticut there and caught a lot of those Boston mackerel. Stronger winds across the Great Lakes. Water temperatures are still cold. You're going to go swimming, use a wetsuit. Obviously, 30s north to the mid-40s in the mid-Atlantic states. In the southeast, water temperatures in the 60s and 70s, and the fish are beginning to perk up and bite. The Spanish mackerel, the cobia, the bluefish, all looking great. Of course, offshore, you got your grouper and your red snapper on the bottom. Delicious eating fish. And those winds are rather light, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Heading out to the piers today, looking great. And out on the west coast, hey, from Crescent City, California, south to the border, winds 5 to 15, a little strong along the northwest coast, and those water temperatures are still cool as they normally would be. 50s north through the 60s around Long Beach and southern Cal. Lots of sunshine, too.
Introducing Total Raisin Bran. Other Raisin Brans have only 1/4 as much vitamin nutrition. And eating a Raisin Bran with only 1/4 the vitamin nutrition you could get is like having Mount Rushmore. Hey. With only one president. New Total Raisin Bran is the only Raisin Bran with 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals. Total nutrition has finally come to Raisin Bran.
Waking up in the west, get your morning off to a good start with Cheryl Lemke's Good Morning Forecast.
Well, warm, sunny, and dry pretty much sums up the weather today out in the west. It's kind of a mixed blessing, the dry weather that we're seeing out in the west. A great day for outdoor activities, but for the farmers, it's kind of bad news. We desperately need the rain out in the west, and no rain coming up in the near future. Places like Redding, California, they're running about 9 inches below normal for the year. And even aside from that, Bakersfield, California, too, only 64% of their normal rainfall amount. And unfortunately, no rain in the cards, at least in the near future. It's going to be a warm one, though, no doubt about that. From Seattle down towards Portland, highs in the 70s today. And then throughout interior valleys of California, highs easily shooting into the 80s and the 90s. Much cooler than that, though, for the plain states. A cold front sweeping on by, the wind shifting from the southwest to the northwest, and temperatures will be cooling down. Also along and ahead of that front, do expect some scattered showers and the possibility of some snow up in Michigan. From the Keweenaw Peninsula and over towards Marquette, maybe 1 to 3 inches of wet snow. Aside from that, some gentle rains will be falling around Traverse City and Houghton Lake up there in Michigan. Much of the plains, though, on the dry side today, and temperatures fairly seasonable. 40s and 50s will do it across Minnesota. 60s and 70s, though, for most of the central plains and the mid-Mississippi Valley. In the northeast, a nice day overall. High pressure right smack dab over Pennsylvania. And we can expect partly to mostly sunny skies from New England and down towards the mid-Atlantic coast. Do enjoy today's weather because the weather going downhill by tomorrow as this front comes in from the west. Today, though, should be on the dry side and temperatures not too bad overall. Temperatures on the rebound, 30s and 40s for New England, but elsewhere for Boston over towards Albany, highs in the 50s and some 60s around the nation's capital. In the southeast, though, keep the umbrellas handy. Clouds will be rolling in, thickening and lowering for places like Georgia, but a lot of wet weather on tap from Texas and over towards the lower Mississippi Valley. Even a chance for a stray shower or two as well down in Florida. The bulk of the wet weather, though, right across the Texas coastal band where an inch or more rain is not out of the question, and the mild temperatures will continue. As we head on into the weekend, a lot of wet weather shaping up in the east, but from the plains and out to the west, a very, very dry scenario.
Me stain wood? That's a job for professionals.
Would you try a stain made for amateurs?
Well...
Czar Wood Stain.
Okay.
Other stains are made for professionals, but Czar Wipe-On Stain makes it easy for first-timers to get beautiful results. And Czar's controlled penetration gives you plenty of time to wipe off excess and avoid streaks and lap marks.
It looks great. It's so easy. Even my husband could do it.
And for lasting protection, use Czar Clear Finishes. Czar Wood Finishing Products, the best thing that ever happened to wood.
Look for Czar products at this dealer near you.
The Regional Forecast. The 36-hour forecast. local information here on the Weather Channel.
A look at your weekend in about 5 minutes from Bill Schubert. Right now, the business travel forecast sponsored by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
Century and more, business travelers have depended on United Airlines to get them to their most important meetings. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Many people take everyday items for granted. Take the matchbook, for example. This popular item was invented in 1892 by Joshua Pusey of Pennsylvania. Many products are created or improved by the innovations of individuals. Ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. We believe these individuals, like you, are a great source of creativity. If you have an idea, invention, or new product you'd like to submit to industry, Invention Submission Corporation has a free inventor's kit to help you get started. The kit contains a form for recording and dating your invention, an information brochure, and other materials of interest to inventors. Invention Submission Corporation is one of America's largest invention service companies. We can show you how your invention can be packaged and submitted to industry. So call ISC now for your free inventor's kit.
For your free inventor's kit, call toll-free 1-800-288-IDEA. That's 1-800-288-IDEA. Operator 20.
Stay tuned for the Days In 5-Day Business Planner, keeping track of storm systems, hazardous weather, and poor road conditions that may affect your business travel. The Days In 5-Day Business Planner coming up in just a few minutes right here on the Weather Channel.
The regional forecast. The 36-hour forecast. Tuned for more local information here on the Weather Channel.
Is your weekend all planned? Bill Schubert can help you put the finishing touches on it with his outlook.
I sure can, John. And first of all, a nice surprise with the jet stream. Earlier in the last few days, we thought it would take a dip down to the south and provide a lot of cold Arctic air, but even on Sunday now and Monday, it's going to begin to push back even further to the north, and much of the country will enjoy some nice, warm weather. If you're into that sort of thing, there's a lot of cold weather lovers out there, too, and You'll still have a little bit, but you're going to have to go pretty far north. Let's find out what's going to be happening over the weekend. Saturday's high temperatures, the coldest air we can find, northern New England. Otherwise, 60s and 70s to the Canadian border, 80s and 90s, and some 100s in the southwest. Precipitation dry in the west. A little rain perhaps around the Olympic Peninsula and the frontal system, and a weak storm along the east coast, bringing those folks a little bit of rain, some thunderstorms. And on Sunday, that heads out to sea, but still left over some scattered showers down in Florida along the front. Then the next front coming across the upper Midwest, the only snow way up around International Falls, Minnesota, and perhaps in Caribou, Maine. Otherwise, some scattered rain showers. The west, again, will be dry, and temperatures on Sunday looking great. Look at the 70s beginning to head up into the Central Plains, 80s in Florida, 90s in Texas, 100-degree readings plus in the desert southwest, and the 70s and 60s even into the northwest, and of course a little cooler right along the west coast with those Pacific breezes. John.
Thank you, Bill. Drivers in Texas and Louisiana taking it kind of slow this morning. The Travelers Update now from Cheryl.
Yeah, that's right. Especially along Highway 10 this morning, you could encounter some hydroplaning. A lot of rain showers have been coming on down. We've been seeing some especially heavy ones across Liberty and Montgomery counties in Texas, with reports of anywhere from 3 to as much as 4 inches of rain so far today. And the rains continue throughout eastern Texas, and the rains gradually pressing their way across the Tennessee Valley. As we head to the north, though, a little taste of winter, some snow up around Sault Ste. Marie, and some light snow, too, up across the Connecticut River Valley. Now, through this afternoon, as that system pulls to the east, the rain's gradually developing even more so across the Tennessee Valley, and you'll see some hit-and-miss showers, too, down across Florida, some of which could be rather strong. But particularly true across Galveston, Houston, over towards Lake Charles, and the southern parishes of Louisiana. Do watch out for some threatening weather today, maybe some heavier downpours, and also some lightning and hail to accompany these thunderstorms. The winds picking up around the Great Lakes. At last report around Muskegon, winds have been gusting from the south at about 35 miles per hour, so hold on to your hats today up around the Great Lakes. Meanwhile, the fog is still out and about across New Jersey, and the fog, too, basically plaguing parts of the west coast this morning, but the fog should be burning off and being replaced by sunshine later on today. Stay tuned if you're curious about the weather for this upcoming week. We'll be checking out the weather for the next 5 days in the next few minutes.
Only a few days left to take advantage of this special offer from AT&T. Listen.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance.
And that's not all. With AT&T Pro Watts, no special lines or equipment are needed. Get distance-sensitive pricing, get a detailed record of individual calls, and you save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call 1-800-222-0400. Remember, we'll pay to switch you over. We'll pay the installation fee, and if you're not satisfied, we'll pay to switch you back. Call now. Pro Watts offer ends April 15th.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Now, the Morning Report with John Doyle. And with me, Cheryl Lemke and Bill Schubert. They had a tornado in Florida yesterday, touching down harmlessly between Lakeland and Auburndale, accompanied by golf ball-sized hail. The Tennessee Valley had a sunny day. Jackson, Tennessee hitting 74 before the rain passes through today, headed for Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Yesterday in the capital, the Soviet national baseball team called on President and Mrs. Bush. They were welcomed on the South Lawn of the White House before beginning their tour of the country. Latest figures show that Exxon has recovered only 8.3% of the nearly 11 million gallons of oil along the coast of Alaska. The oil oozed onto the Barren Islands at midweek, now being spotted 300 miles away from Prince William Sound at Homer, Alaska. Federal marine biologists say that the contamination from the oil could stay in the environment for as long as 10 years. It's now 20 past the hour. Stay tuned for the day's 5-day business planner. America's waking up to days ends, hotels, and suites. Here's Bill Schubert.
Okay, thanks a lot, John. And if you business travelers are planning to go to Dallas today or to Houston, bring the rain gear. Also, New Orleans, the rains will be coming in shortly as that trough of low pressure moves to the east. And a few showers for Detroit, Chicago, but not a big deal. It won't last very long. Cold weather, hard to find any right now. It's pretty mild all over the entire country. Seattle, Denver, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Reno, all looking fine today. Not a chance of any rain at all. Later afternoon today, we're seeing rain showers again around Memphis, Tennessee, where it's raining now. Perhaps around Miami, Florida, and north into Jacksonville. They could have a couple of sprinkles, but those rains mainly down to the south. And by tomorrow morning, cities like Macon, Norfolk, Virginia could see some scattered rain showers, maybe a sprinkle in the Pacific Northwest, and turning a little cooler across the Great Lakes. High temperatures today, hey, not too bad. 30s way up in northern New England, 40s for the upper Midwest. Notice the 70s and 60s covering a large part of the country. 80s in Florida to the 100-degree plus range in Southern California and Arizona. In the 60s right along the coast. You don't have to worry about those real hot temperatures once again, because I'm sure a lot of people don't have air conditioners on the coast, on the west coast, and when it gets hot, it can be miserable. At least the humidity is very dry. Tonight, cool, but not too bad. 20s and 30s up north, 40s and 50s in the south, except Florida and along the Gulf Coast and Southern California, a little warmer. Look at tomorrow now. The high temperatures, 40s. That's it over northern New England. The rest of the country, mighty nice. And on Sunday, the high temperatures again, ranging from the 40s in northern New England, 70s and 80s into the plain states. Boy, spring is finally coming, isn't it? 80s and 90s out west, cooler on the west coast, though. And on Monday, we're still seeing some nice warm air. We don't see any real cold air at all. And believe me, even though it's mid-April, it can get mighty cold. A lot of cold air left up in Canada. Still temperatures there, 35 to 40 below zero. Now, Tuesday, we're going to see an invasion of some colder air into the upper Great Lakes. The rest of the country. Around the Olympic Peninsula of the Northwest. On Sunday, we're seeing dry conditions here. Another front bringing a little snow around International Falls, Minnesota. Rain elsewhere. A little rain and snow up in northern New England. Scattered showers along the front in Florida. And on Monday, a new front moves into the west to bring with it a chance of showers, not only there, but into the plains. And on Tuesday, again, we're seeing more widespread rains as air comes out of the Gulf of Mexico, feeding the clouds to bring the rains into the northeast, and more important rains in the west, we hope, and others.
Call about Days Simple Super Saver program. Restrictions do apply, and Simple Super Saver rooms are limited, so call now. It's 23 past the hour. Cheryl Lemke will have her eye on all the weather, fair and foul, and there's a lot of that in Texas this morning in a moment.
This is a book of world records. It includes the tallest building, the biggest animal, the fastest car. But there's something they've missed. The world's fastest growing hotel chain, Days Inns. We have nearly 1,000 locations across North America, with great rooms, pools, lounges, and with our great prices, you'll want to come back again and again. Who knows? Stay with us often enough, and you might get in here before we do.
Call our toll-free number and see why America's waking up to us.
Call 800-325-2525 for reservations at Days locations nationwide.
The regional forecast. The 36-hour forecast. on the Weather Channel.
It's 24 past the hour now. Let's take a look at all the current conditions with Cheryl.
And a good Friday morning, too. Much of the country looking at some nice weather conditions today, but not in Texas. Let's take a look at the satellite review, and we can clearly see the showers and the thunderstorms blossoming and firing up over Texas. In some cases, we have had some heavier rains, especially across Liberty and Montgomery counties in eastern Texas. A whopping 3 to as much as 4 inches of rainfall in some cases, and the rain will continue to pelt a good part of eastern Texas for today. Much of the east, though, waking up to some clear skies, and with that radiational cooling. And we had a record low this morning for Baltimore, dropping all the way down to 31 degrees. The west, too, waking up to some clear skies out there. A massive area of high pressure, and things are very, very quiet out across the western third of the nation. Now let's take a look at the airports, and we have one delay so far today. That is around Dallas. They're seeing some light rain and drizzle, and delays now are approaching 40 minutes. Here's our current weather map. Most of the nation's midsection under the gun today, seeing the active weather, but that's not the story out in the west. Some high-level clouds filtering in across Washington and Oregon State, but the bark is worse than the bite as these clouds are not producing any rainfall whatsoever. We had a little bit of fog earlier this morning around San Luis Obispo, California, and Alameda. The fog has been burning off, and most of the west should enjoy ample sunshine through this afternoon and some unusually warm temperatures. Already for Seattle, up to 50 degrees. San Francisco's at 56, Burbank at 59, and Las Vegas coming in very mild, too, at 57 degrees. As we head towards the Midwest, Des Moines, Iowa, 53. Not too bad for Minneapolis, even at 43 degrees, and it's 36 up around Marquette. Kind of snowy, though, up around the UP of Michigan, where we've had some snow for Sault Ste. Marie. Meanwhile, some light rain and drizzle around Traverse City and Houghton Lake. Some light rain, too, for Rockford and Chicago, Illinois. And some spotty light rain now developing over across Iowa. As we head to the northeast, though, we still have some lingering wintry weather, some light snow across upstate New York and over towards around Burlington, Vermont. The snow should be giving way, though, to pretty good sunshine conditions across the northeast and the mid-Atlantic as high pressure will start to build across the northeast. But enjoy today's weather, as the weather will be going downhill for tomorrow as the system comes in from the west. Your temperatures this go around: Boston at 44, Albany temperatures in the mid-30s, and we're seeing temperatures now approaching 40 degrees up around Pittsburgh. And not too bad, though, as we head towards the south, mainly some 60s, some 50s, and even some 70s. 70 right now for Tampa, and 80 coming in, or Miami coming in at 80. Now, there is a front slicing across the deep south, setting off a few scattered showers. The bulk of the wet weather, though, continues in Texas. Still looking at some rain showers around the Golden Triangle, over around Houston and the Beaumont-Port Arthur area. Here's our current weather map and the national radar scan. Still looking at some showers and thunderstorms in Texas, and all this weather is pressing off towards the northeast. It will continue to develop across the Tennessee Valley.
Instead of spending your weekend cutting the green, get a great weekend rate from Avis and save some green. Avis, we try harder to make it easier. How do you get a well-equipped late model Avis car with absolutely unlimited mileage? No matter how long you keep it, you buy it from Avis Car Sales. Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
This is it. Your day in the sun. You've got talent, experience, and equipment you can depend on. Charcoal made with premium woods to bring power and consistency to your game. Then, and only then, can you bask in the glow of victory. Kingsford Charcoal, what the pros use.
The current conditions. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
29 past the hour, forecast time with Bill Schubert.
All right, John, first of all, we'll start in the west, and by midday, we're looking at generally fair skies again. No forecast of any rain. We still have that big ridge of high pressure forcing all the weather systems to stay out in the Pacific Ocean. But there is some better news in the foreseeable future. Maybe a chance of rain by next week. Now, here comes the leading edge of some cooler Canadian air. It's not all that cold. Most of it's staying well to the north, but it's not going to help you anyhow as far as any precipitation goes. Just cooling off the northern Rockies and plains. Later on today, we see a frontal system coming out of the Pacific. Now, that could bring a brief shower into the northwest, but it won't do anything to help the dry conditions. Again, we're not looking at any precipitation, so we'll look at the temperatures today. At least you have the benefit of nice, warm weather. 70s and 60s in the northwest to the 90s, near 100 over the desert, 60s along the coast of California. In the upper plains, the upper Midwest, fair skies behind the front, but a little bit of snow around the southern shores of Lake Superior, perhaps around Iron Mountain, Ironwood, Escanaba, Michigan, could pick up a dusting to a couple inches of snow. Some rain showers along the front, heading toward Detroit and Chicago to South Bend in Indiana. Later on today, we see the front very, very inactive. It's not really doing much, just a wind shift and some clouds. There's the rain in northern Michigan, a little bit of snow where you see the white along the southern shores of good old Lake Superior. 40s for a high way up in northern Minnesota to the 60s and 70s as we head into the plains, and 60s over the Ohio Valley. In the northeast, we're looking at high pressure keeping things dry, although over northern New England, around the backside of that low, bring with it a little bit of rain to Portland, Maine, snow to Burlington, Vermont, but it's not really amounting to anything. And later on today, that should be ending. The frontal system moving to the east, and not looking at any organized precipitation at all. Temperatures 30s and 40s way up north to the 60s across the Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic states. Now, this is where the action is, across Texas, into Louisiana, to Mississippi and Tennessee. Later today, showers and scattered thunderstorms, also down in Florida, too. Certainly a possibility. Could see up to 2 inches of rain, maybe around the Texas coast. Lighter amounts as we head to the north and east. 60s and 70s, of course, 80s down in southern Florida. Here it is, all put back together. And by tomorrow morning, we're looking at dry conditions, more rain showers along the east coast. A frontal system bringing, as I mentioned earlier, a little rain into the northwest.
Et voilà, le pig. Let me guess. Burgers and fries? Wrong hotel. What? I trust you brought your own high chair.
Hey, what kind of a...
Matron D gets very upset if you raise your voice. You guys should have stayed at Holiday Inn. They've got great stuff for kids. Pizza, pools, games. You're better than this place. But since you're here, may I suggest the eels flambé?
Why take chances? Stay with someone you know. Holiday Inn.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. For more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
A check on the Far East and the Pacific with Cheryl Lemke and the Pacific Briefing, sponsored by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Cheryl?
Well, we had a fairly nice day over in Japan and Korea yesterday. The high pressure, though, has worked its way off towards the east, and now a cold front is bearing down on that neck of the woods, bringing some cloudy skies and some scattered showers. Meanwhile, a couple areas of low pressure across Malaysia and Indonesia bring some scattered rains there. Most of the land down under looking pretty good, and even New Zealand nice and dry today under the influence of high pressure. Temperatures, Midway Island at 70 degrees, Tokyo at 69, Osaka checking in at 66. Elsewhere, though, Darwin a very mild 76, and Auckland coming in at 61. Here's a look now at a few other cities in the West Pacific.
14 cities in 10 countries across the Pacific. They're playing our song. United Airlines Royal Pacific Service. Rededicated to giving you the service you deserve halfway around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
Well, Bill Schubert always got straight A's in angling. Let's head off to school with Bill in the school day forecast, sponsored by Citrus Hill Plus Calcium Orange Juice. 100% pure, delicious goodness for your family. Professor Schubert.
All right there, Mr. John. he flubs up sometimes, too. Not often, but sometimes. We're looking at rain across the southern plains of Mississippi Valley, so I hope you kids have the umbrellas to get home with today because you'll need them. It's raining, and those showers may develop in southern Florida. Watch out for the thunderstorms, though, seriously, and hope you tell the kids to get to a place of shelter if they start hearing the thunder. A little rain in northern Michigan, and it's kind of mild all over the country. Of course, you need a jacket to start your school day with, but coming home through much of the country, you can generally just get by with a sweater or two. So all in all, not a bad day shaping up for the school kids.
At 15, kids don't want to be mothered anymore. You have to pick your opportunities. Citrus Hill Plus Calcium is one of those opportunities. We said if we could take 100% pure orange juice and add calcium without changing the taste, girls like Paula would drink it every day. To her, it's just delicious juice. To me, it's better nutrition. And as big as she is, she's still my baby.
Citrus Hill Plus Calcium, a more nutritious orange juice.
Also available in grapefruit. Fresh grapefruit taste to satisfy your thirst for nutrition.
The regional forecast. The 36-hour forecast. Tune for more local information here on the Weather Channel.
Now, the Morning Report with John Doyle. And alongside Cheryl Lemke and Bill Schubert. Rainfall totals in the west are easily as much as 8 inches below normal, with just a chance of some drizzle by tomorrow in northwest Washington state. High pressure has been blocking the Pacific storms and cold fronts and warming again this week in the southwest. Los Angeles made the 70s Thursday after some morning haze and drizzle, looking for another warm day here today. Back east, more high pressure and fair weather in Jackson, Tennessee. In the warmer air upstream from here, melting snow. The Ohio River has been flooding at Shawneeville, Illinois, and Mound City, Kentucky. More heavy rain for Texas, spreading east today, but much of the country should have a sunny weekend. Fine weather for the Soviet national baseball team in Washington, D.C. yesterday to greet President and Mrs. Bush at the White House before the team begins their tour of the United States. It's 22 before the hour, time for Waking Up Weather, sponsored by mountain-grown Folgers Coffee. Folgers, the best part of waking up. Here's Cheryl Lemke.
If you're waking up in the west, you're definitely waking up to some gorgeous weather today. High pressure really influencing the weather across the western third of the nation. And we've got a lot of bright, brilliant sunshine shaping up in the west and unusually warm temperatures as well. But into Texas, well, sunshine may be a scarce commodity for today as the rains continue. In some cases, the rain has been rather heavy, particularly true across Liberty and Montgomery County in eastern Texas. We've had reports of anywhere from 3 to as much as 4 inches of rain, and all that wet weather will be pulling out of Texas today and eventually working its way across the Tennessee Valley. Now let's take a look at the airports, and because of the rain, we do have one delay so far today. That is for Dallas. Some light rain there, and delays are approaching 40 minutes. Our current weather map shows us not much going on in the west or the east, but in between that, sandwiched in between, we do see some rain and some thunderstorms all the way down to Texas. First of all, though, let's focus in on the west. Clear skies for Southern California and over towards the Four Corners. We see some high-level clouds, though, rolling in across Washington and Oregon and down towards Lake Tahoe. The bark is worse than the bite, however, in the fact that these are just clouds, high-level clouds, and they're not producing any rainfall or snowfall at this time. Again, the dry weather regime will continue out in the west. and abnormally warm temperatures too. Already for Seattle, clear or partly cloudy skies, I should say, at 50 degrees. Boise, Idaho, waking up to 47. 47 as well for Salt Lake City, and Burbank not looking too bad at a very mild 59 degrees. As we head towards the Midwest, not too bad here either. Des Moines, Iowa, 53. Chicago, though, reporting some rain and holding at 46 degrees. Here's our front pressing in from the west, setting off some light rain then around Rockford and Chicago, Illinois. Also setting off some light rain, too, for Traverse City and Grand Rapids, Michigan. But then we continue to see some snow up around Sault Ste. Marie. Also of importance today, strong blustery winds. Strong southerly winds out ahead of the cold front. In the wake of the cold front, though, winds are shifting to the northwest. You'll see some strong winds basically today from Minnesota and back over towards the lower Great Lakes. In the northeast, well, you might be getting off to a rather snowy start across upstate New York and over towards the Connecticut River Valley. The snow will be giving way to partly to mostly sunny skies, too, throughout the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. And definitely enjoy today's weather, because if you wait until tomorrow, that's when the weather really goes downhill. We have that low-pressure system scooting through the Great Lakes today, and come tomorrow, it will promise to bring quite a bit of wet weather for the northeast. So definitely enjoy today's weather, because it won't be quite so nice as we start the weekend. Albany coming in this hour at 38 degrees. Boston's at 44. Baltimore at 47. And boy, it's going to be a nice day for Baltimore with lots of sunshine and temperatures in the lower 60s by this afternoon. To the south we go. Nashville 49. Atlanta 56 degrees. Tampa, a very nice start to your day at 70. Elsewhere, Dallas reporting some light rain and a temperature of 50. Not only do we see the rain for Dallas, but we see some rain, too, for Tyler, Texas, and Longview, Texas. And the rain showers also continuing around Houston and the Beaumont, Port Arthur area. And right around the Galveston, some light rain. And more rains, too, developing around Barksdale and Shreveport, Louisiana. And this entire wet rain mass is scooting off towards the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. Here's our current weather map one more time around, and we'll take a look at the radar scan. We can see some areas showing up in yellow and red, indicating some thunderstorms in Texas. And again, it's all pressing off towards the northeast. Let's go on one local radar stop out of the south, out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Basically some light rain, though, across Arkansas from Fort Smith and all the way down towards Ashley County in southern Arkansas. All the moisture is generally tracking eastward at speeds of about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Some more rains for Tennessee.
It's your son's wedding day, waking up his favorite way.
Wake up with mountain-grown Folgers. Mountain-grown beans have a richer aroma.
Thanks, Dad. You know, everyone says today's the happiest day of your life, but it's not. The happiest day is when your son gets married.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Celebrate America's entertainment choice. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights. Superstars, super hits, styles and trends, winners and losers, inspiration, destinations, facts and figures, sales and bargains, great debates, fun and games. 24 hours a day, cable choice is your choice. And during National Cable Month, watch for a different cable network every night featured in prime time. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights.
The current conditions. The 5-day forecast. coverage here on the Weather Channel.
It's now 1:15 for you clock watchers. Time for a forecast from Bill Schubert.
And we'll start with the west first, John. Midday today, again, as I mentioned earlier, nothing going on at all. It is dry and expected to stay dry. There may be a front coming into the northwest tonight or tomorrow. Could bring a couple sprinkles, but other than that, as you can see here, there's very little to talk about. It will be warm, however, and we'll get to that in a moment. Late today, still high pressure is the dominant force, and it's preventing any needed rains from coming in off the Pacific Ocean. Since we don't have any rain to talk about, we do have warm temperatures, even over the northwest. Across the Willamette Valley, it's going to be nice and warm. Seattle, perhaps into the 70s, 60s in San Francisco, 90s at Tucson and Phoenix and Arizona, to the 60s in the Colorado Rockies. 40s and 50s way off in the northern plains behind this front that will bring a few scattered showers eventually into the Ohio Valley, and behind it northwesterly winds and cooler temperatures, and yes, still a little snow along the southern shores of Lake Superior. No big deal. It's still April. They still get snow, probably into early May sometimes. Later on today, the scattered showers perhaps reaching Detroit. There'll be hit and miss showers, but any significant precipitation will be held for the UP of Michigan. Little rain, little snow, and temperatures cooling off to the 40s and 50s behind the front. South of it, nice mild 60s and 70s. In the northeast, it's all high pressure today. Yeah, I know you got a lot of clouds over New England, but they're slowly breaking up. The clouds now increasing in western New York State as this frontal system moves slowly to the east, and ahead of it, southwesterly winds, keeping things nice and mild. That'll be the case later on today. No chance of any rain. Still a little rain and snow way up in northern New England, though, but that should be disappearing. And since we don't have any rain or snow to talk about as far as any amounts, we'll look at the 30s and 40s for a high way up in northern New England, to the 60s across Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, down the Ohio River Valley, 50s in the Big Apple. Now we get the big stuff, the rains across the southern Mississippi Valley, Texas, moving into northern Alabama, and later on perhaps into Nashville, Tennessee. Looks like much of that will miss Georgia, where they could use the rain, in the Carolinas, and maybe some badly needed showers in Florida today, central and southern Florida. Could see a 10th to a half inch of rain. Heavy amounts along the Texas coast, perhaps up to an inch into southern Arkansas and around Memphis, Tennessee. Of course, where it's raining, the temperatures will be held down a bit into the 60s, but 70s and 80s as we head down into Florida. Here it is, late afternoon today, and by tomorrow morning, we're looking at more rains along the east coast, from Maine down to Florida, and maybe a little rain in the northwest, cooler over the Great Lakes.
Gee, Ollie, this windshield's so messy, I can't see. Oh. We need new wiper blades.
I know that.
Make sure your windshield wipers work when you need them. Get a new set of Anco blades at least once a year and see what you've been missing.
Ollie, with that new Anco wipers, we could have been hit by that piano. Oh. Piano? No!
No matter what the weather, rain, sleet, or snow, Anco has the right wiper blade to see your way clear. The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
11 before the hour, Cheryl Lemke watching the skies for the pilots.
And we're keeping a close eye on the winds. Winds can pose a problem for the pilot. First of all, checking out the winds at 2,000 feet, we see some 25-knot winds across Ohio, Illinois, and Indiana. 25-knot winds, too, up around the northern Rockies. Then at 10,000 feet, again, the swath of 25-knot winds in the area shaded in yellow. As we head on up to the jet stream level, 34,000 feet, we see some pretty good winds along the eastern seaboard, but the stronger winds are running across the northern high plains. Winds in excess of 100 knots. Now here's our current weather map. A low-pressure system sweeping through the Great Lakes today, setting off some rain and some snow. Because temperatures are cold up around the UP of Michigan, check your freezing levels today. And also watch out for some moderate turbulence, as we have had reports of that across the Great Lakes and down across the northern sections of Ohio. Meanwhile, showers and thunderstorms firing up in eastern Texas, and all of this is pressing off towards the east. You can see with our IFR chart that we're definitely seeing some low ceilings and restricted visibilities across Oklahoma and Texas. Also a little bit of that too in the northeast, and some low stratus clouds across the California coast might slow you down a little bit for this morning. Here's our national radar scan, and right now the higher cloud tops moving across Texas. Cloud tops in excess of 45,000 feet. Stay tuned now for your spring weather update.
Homeowners, stop struggling with ugly piles of leaves and brush that ruin the good looks of your place. Instead, with the amazing Troy-built Tomahawk Chipper Shredder. In just minutes, you can turn enormous piles of brush like this into mountains of useful wood chips and mulch. Tomahawk's 2 machines-in-1 design makes it easy. First, it's an efficient shredder that turns useless brush, fallen branches, even prunings and vines into instant wood chips and mulch. Second, it's a powerful chipper that turns branches up to 3 inches thick into landscape chips in seconds. And you can use all the wonderful mulch and chips to keep weeds down and beautify your property too. So if you'd like to clean up your whole property the fast, easy Tomahawk way, call toll-free 1-800-826-2220 for complete details on our whole lineup of Troy-built Tomahawk Chipper Shredders. That's 1-800-826-2220. Call today. Operators are standing by.
Today, a little snow, a lot of rain. Where is it and where is it headed? We'll find out from Bill.
Sure will, John. It's headed all over the lower Mississippi Valley, coming out of Texas and the Gulf of Mexico. All this warm air riding over that cooler air north of the front. And some amounts have been rather heavy. Kingsville, Texas, in the past 24 hours, almost 3 inches of rain. Lighter amounts elsewhere. Some showers in Florida today, and a few scattered showers across the front over the upper Great Lakes. Maybe a little snow along the southern shores of Lake Superior. To the west, though, it continues to be dry. And as we look at the satellite picture of the Gulf and the lower Mississippi Valley, it is really awesome looking and say, hey, this is a tropical storm. But no, just a big cluster of thunderstorms in the Gulf. A lot of the cirrus as it's blowing off the thunderstorms itself. Scattered showers in Louisiana, down in Texas. Meanwhile, in Kingville, we're looking at almost 3 inches of rain. Stephenville, 2.07. Austin, Texas, 3/4 of an inch. San Antonio, over 1 inch of rain in the past 24 hours. And the potential is still there for more rain, especially in Texas, Louisiana, then eventually getting into the mid-Atlantic states. Could see a 1/2 to 1 inch of rain. And snow, hard to find a little bit throughout the UP of Michigan, perhaps about 1 to 2 inches of snow. Now, your local forecast.
The regional forecast. The 36-hour forecast. Tuned for more local information here on the Weather Channel.
Little trip, little yard work. Here comes the weekend, and Cheryl has the Weekend Outlook sponsored by your local John Deere dealer. Cheryl?
Well, the citrus growers and the farmers out in the west are really praying for rainfall, but it doesn't look as if that will be the case this weekend as a high-pressure ridge continues to build out in the west. Meanwhile, a trough of low pressure digging down across the lower Ohio Valley, and that will spell some inclement weather for sections of the east. We'll break it down for you, and first of all, looking at temperatures on Saturday, cool from the UP of Michigan and over towards New England. Highs only topping off in the 40s. A nice warming trend, though, for the nation's heartland with the 60s and the 70s. The hottest of weather, though, will continue across the southwest with 90s and 100s for this weekend. Now, the system right now plaguing Texas will be scooting off eastward, and much of the eastern seaboard under the gun. Unfortunately, a damp day for outdoor activities as the rains will continue from Boston southward all the way down towards Apalachicola, Florida. Now, on Sunday, much of the country quieting down, but a system brushing the Great Lakes may bring some scattered rain and maybe even some snow up around International Falls, and a chance for some light snow, too, up around Caribou, Maine. Temperatures overall not too bad. Much of the country, again, looking fairly mild, 60s and 70s, and lots of 80s, 90s, and 100s as we head towards the southwest.
It's deer season. Time to drive a bargain with your John Deere dealer. Now you can get $100 to $300 off on riders and tractors. Or Choose accessories at no extra cost. But hurry, Deere season ends May 31st. See your John Deere dealer and drive home a bargain.
See the complete line of lawn and garden equipment at your local authorized John Deere dealer.
It's 5 before the hour. I'm John Doyle for Bill Schubert and Cheryl Lemke. Thank you for joining us, and stick around for Bruce Edwards, Carl Arredondo, keeping you covered across the country. Right now, the Michelin Drivers Report. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. Here's Bill.
All right, John, our Michelin trouble spot, again, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, into Tennessee, as the rains continue to come down and spread off to the northeast. And rains and down in Florida, too, mainly in central and southern Florida, and mainly during the afternoon hours. A little bit of rain throughout northern Michigan, but the west remains dry, and a couple of strong storms, a possibility. This is just a general area over Texas, Louisiana, central and southern Florida once again, and some of the winds associated with the front across the Great Lakes could gust to 30 miles per hour or higher. Fog, happily, is now gone. Now we pause for this important message from Michelin.
Michelin Sport MXV.
High performance with European style.
Michelin Sport XGT.
Ultra performance, sporty style.
Michelin Sport EPX.
All season performance, all season style.
See the Michelin Sport line today. They'll bring out the sport in you.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bruce Edwards. It's time now to look at what's happening on this Friday morning, starting with a look at this morning's low temperatures. And not quite as cold over the east and southeast as we saw the last couple of days. We see generally readings in the 30s and 40s, although it was freezing in Detroit this morning, down to 28 in Buffalo, 26 in Pittsburgh. But look at New York City, not bad at 40 degrees for a low temperature this morning. A little chilly up around Sault Ste. Marie, dropped to 31 degrees, and some colder air is filtering in. But through the far west, generally 50s and 60s, some 40s in the northwest. Presently now, we find 62 in Jacksonville, Florida, already up to 80 degrees in Miami. New York's at 42 presently, 41 degrees in Detroit, Michigan. And we find the readings in through the northern plains, 30s and 40s overall, 68 in Phoenix, 62 in San Diego. Let's show you the satellite view. Put that on into motion for you. And as we do, we see the moisture spreading over Texas and into the Gulf, the heaviest thunderstorms. But now watch the clouds working their way in through middle Tennessee and on into northern Alabama. A little light rain now advancing on to the north. We look at the surface map, show you exactly what we've got going on. And again, we see a front draped across the upper Midwest, the stationary front in the Gulf, and the overriding moisture bringing the showers through portions of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, into southern Missouri, and now into western portions of Kentucky, as well as into Muscle Shoals, Alabama. A little light rain falling right now north towards Memphis and Paducah, Kentucky. This past hour reporting some rain. Only thunderstorms being reported around Leesville, Louisiana, as this cluster is moving out of East Texas and sliding on towards the northeast. What we're going to be seeing today is an increasing layer of clouds over the southeast, and the moisture will be flowing on in as well later on this evening, with showers moving towards the Atlantic seaboard. Right now, the only precipitation in the northeast is a little bit of light rain around Portland, Maine, little light snow around Augusta, and as we get into Michigan, around Alpena and Saginaw, Michigan, Muskegon, down to Chicago, a little bit of light rain there, and some snow up around Hibbing, Minnesota, and Sault Ste. Marie. Bismarck had a brief shower that has passed on through, and much of the west looking dry at the present time. The National Digital Radar shows again the light rain into Michigan and Illinois, and a few of those thunderstorms east Texas into Louisiana. We'll take a look at Lake Charles, Louisiana National Weather Service radar, and it shows the moderate rain with an embedded thunderstorm or two right up around the Sabine River and over towards Alexandria. All of this wet weather is heading off to the northeast at 25. That's what's happening right now. Coming up next, we'll take a detailed look at your good afternoon forecast.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Good morning, everyone. A minute and a half past the top of the hour. I'm Bruce Edwards along with Carl Arredondo, looking at the nation's weather, which by and large is pretty quiet except for a couple of spots.
That's right. We are getting welcome rain in parts of Texas, southeastern Texas especially, seeing as much as 1 to 3, 4 inches of rain in some parts.
That's right. That's helping the cause out.
That's true. We'll show you what you can expect over the next 24 hours, where that rain is going to be moving. As we look at the afternoon map, the rain still for parts of eastern Texas, the lower Mississippi River Valley. And a little front moving through the Great Lakes region, also producing a few scattered showers, passing through Detroit later this afternoon. Chicago, some light rain this morning, but the western seaboard fairly dry through tomorrow morning. Here comes another weak system going to bring a little bit in the way of light rain around the Puget Sound. Showers and the upper level disturbance working its way eastward on into South Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida, while the front moving through the northeast by tomorrow afternoon, producing some showers ahead of it around Boston, New York City, Atlantic City, the nation's capital, on into Hilton Head, looking at scattered showers for tomorrow afternoon. While the plains and the west still very dry, this front being stretched out across the northwest, not producing a whole lot in the way of moisture. Rain maybe as much as an inch or more, and we have seen that in just a short period of time in some parts of South Texas, with the only snow in the UP of Michigan, generally light. Temperatures mild across much of the nation, still on the hot side in the southwest, with overnight temperatures chilly to the north, but again, mild across the south. Here's Bruce.
Thank you very much, Carl. This local forecast is sponsored by Holland America Line. We never forget whose vacation it is.
At Holland America Line, we never forget whose vacation it is. The joy of doing what you want, the art of going your own way. Come, discover them while you discover Alaska, aboard the ocean liners of Holland America Line.
A 7-day cruise to Alaska starts at just $999. For details, see your travel agent.
See your local travel agent for details on this or any Holland American Line cruise.
The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
4 minutes now past the top of the hour. Time to look at the upcoming weekend, and the heat will continue to build over the southwest as we'll see a return to triple-digit heat by tomorrow afternoon. The foothills of the Rockies will see 70s, 60s into the plains and the mid-Atlantic, and very seasonable 70s and 80s to the south. The only real chilly air will be found across northern New England. That's where we'll find highs only in the 40s.
Most of the wet weather, though, on Saturday will be advancing eastward, so the eastern third of the nation from the Appalachians, the Atlantic seaboard will have to dodge some showers and some rain throughout the course of the day. And by Sunday, most of that will push on offshore, with the exceptions of the Florida Peninsula. Some isolated thunderstorms there. It's needed, a lot more than isolated, but that's all we can hope for. And there'll still be rain from New England on down towards the Jersey Shore on Sunday. And then another little impulse drops out of Canada into the upper Midwest. Generally some rain, although there'll be a few areas of northern Minnesota that might see a little bit of snow. The temperatures are going to be cooling down with that next system, and because of the clouds and the moisture in the northeast on Sunday, and even a tad cooler across the mid-Atlantic states after the frontal system passes through. But the plains will be warming up very, very nicely. More heat in the southwest, again, those triple-digit highs, and we'll find slightly cooler air across the northwest, with that front pushing in a little more of a Pacific influence, so temperatures just a smidgen cooler, but still very, very comfortable. Don't go away. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the weather for those of you of the nautical persuasion, the Boat and Beach Report.
Fast, powerful, responsive. The CAT computer is a superior IBM-compatible personal computer with all the features you want at a price that makes buying a CAT easy. The CAT computer has 640K RAM, a 20 megabyte hard disk, a color monitor, a full keyboard, and even a mouse. The CAT computer runs all the terrific word processing, accounting, and graphics software. With a CAT computer, you can finally afford the computing power you've always wanted. To get all these features anywhere else, you'd have to spend as much as $4,000 or more. Through the special limited offer, MJP Federated is offering the CAT computer for just $999. And remember, that includes a color monitor, a mouse, and a 20 megabyte hard disk. Call the toll-free number on your screen for a free brochure. Call 1-800-937-9393 today for the powerful, affordable CAT computer.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more local information here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Here at our plant, we build quality cars. This engine's good for miles and miles, if you take care of it. That means changing the oil every 3,000 miles, and Jiffy Lube makes it easy. They give you an oil change with quality Pennzoil, chassis lube, and complete fluid service in 10 minutes. Please, see Jiffy Lube for an oil change with Pennzoil every 3,000 miles. We're proud of our work. We want it to last. Go, baby.
Jiffy Lube. We give more cars more miles and miles.
I can drive for miles and miles.
Welcome back to the Weather Channel as we check on your boat and beach report. The Northeast, not a bad day. Head out towards the waterways. Winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour where you see the yellow. A little stronger, though, in the Great Lakes, finding a system working its way through. Breezy conditions and some light rain with that system. And cloudy skies as that front works its way eastward, but still some sunshine from around Long Island, the southern shores of New Jersey, on into the Delmarva. Southward we go, and the clouds throughout the Gulf of Mexico. Big thunderstorms in the Gulf, so not the best of days to head out to the waterways today. Winds, however, 5 to 15 miles per hour, but stronger winds and seas with those heavier thunderstorms rumbling about the Gulf of Mexico. The western United States, still light, 5 to 15 miles per hour. A lot of sunshine towards the southwest, the inland lakes, but around coastal communities you may find a little bit in the way of some clouds and some early morning cloudiness and fog. Same story with the northwest with a system that will be working its way on eastward. But a lot of sunshine for Salt Lake, Lake Powell, and up towards the flakes into parts of Colorado. You are going to find a lot of sunshine, so enjoy it with the ridge of high pressure. Stay tuned. Still to come, we're going to take a look at the next 5 days and show you what you can expect weather-wise. Right now, though, it's your local forecast.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Just think of having the convenience of a copier and a fax machine right in your office. Not enough space? Too much money? Not anymore. With the Murata M1200, you've got a high-speed fax machine, an office copier, and a full-feature telephone in one compact, low-cost unit that takes up less space than a standard typewriter. With the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier, you won't be losing time traveling back and forth to a copy fax center. And the M1200 is so inexpensive, you can afford to keep one at home for those rare occasions when you've left an important document behind. Like all Murata products, the M1200 is reliable and backed by great service and support. For a limited time, the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier is specially priced at only $675. Call MJP at 1-800-937-9393 now for complete details with no obligation. That's 1-800-937-9393 for more information about the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier. Call now.
This Lawn and Garden Extra is sponsored by ChemLawn for the very best in lawn, tree, and shrub care.
This is my lawn, and I love to work on it. I feed it. I keep track of its growth, its thickness. I know every inch of this lawn, and if there's a problem, I fix it. I give it the kind of care and attention you just can't count on from any lawn care company. I mean, this may not be my house, but it is my lawn.
We care and it shows.
ChemLawn, we care and it shows.
Take the hassle out of lawn care. Call today for a free ChemLawn no-obligation analysis and estimate.
A beautiful lawn like this one takes more than just good intentions. It requires a proper balance of carbon dioxide from the air, water and oxygen from the soil, and the right kind of nutrients from fertilizer. And your grass needs those nutrients at just the right time and in just the right amounts. In early spring, your lawn needs fertilizer to give it that first spurt of growth and color. This is also a good time to apply crabgrass controls, which will prevent problems during the summer. Be prepared for another fertilizer application later in the spring. That will get the grass ready for the stresses of summer heat. Fertilize again in midsummer using a product specifically designed not to burn the grass. Then in fall, do another application to help the lawn recover from summer and strengthen it for better growth the following spring. Now, if all this seems like too much of a hassle, hire a professional service. Then all you have to do in your yard is enjoy it. I'm Bruce Edwards.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Celebrate America's entertainment choice. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights. Superstars, super hits, styles and trends, winners and losers, inspiration, destinations, facts and figures, sales and bargains, great debates, fun and games. 24 hours a day, cable's choice is your choice. And during National Cable Month, watch for a different cable network every night featured in prime time. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights.
Stay tuned for the Days In 5-Day Business Planner, keeping track of storm systems, hazardous weather, and poor road conditions that may affect your business travel. The Days In 5-Day Business Planner coming up in just a few minutes right here on the Weather Channel.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Eating Smart is sponsored by America's Dairy Farmers, reminding you that cheese makes all the difference in making food taste better.
A potato, broccoli, a bagel. These foods are all good for you, but served alone, there's something missing. You can multiply both their taste and their nutrition by adding cheese. This plain baked potato contains energizing carbohydrates, but by adding shredded cheddar cheese, you'll also get almost 40% of your daily recommended allowance of protein. Add zest to broccoli with creamy cheese sauce and satisfy 70% of your daily calcium requirement. The same cheese sauce on vitamin-rich cauliflower brings you over 90% of your daily protein and half your necessary calcium. Sandwiches are an American staple for lunch, and by pairing a slice of cheese with this turkey, I can add flavor while boosting the calcium intake by almost 25%. Soft, spreadable cream cheese is always tasty on a bagel, and it almost doubles the calcium and protein available. So multiply your nutrition with cheese. It makes all the difference.
A cheese riddle. Hey, Mom, what do you get when you add melted cheddar cheese to ordinary broccoli? Oohs and ahs. Yes, cheese makes it taste better. So don't forget the cheese.
Seasonal Shape Up is sponsored by Doan's Pills for back pain relief.
Doctors measure back pain by how far you can bend. Extra Strength Doans is made for back pain relief with an ingredient these pain relievers don't have. Doans makes back pain go away. Extra Strength Doans, made for back pain relief.
Seasonal Shape Up, your guide to a better you.
When the weather is right for working outdoors, you'll have plenty to do. So protect yourself from injuries such as low back pain. It happens when a sedentary lifestyle is dotted with spurts of activity, straining out-of-shape muscles. For some, the ache can become chronic.
But you can prevent injury with regular exercise and by developing good habits. Good posture and correct body movements prevent unnecessary strain. When you bend over, always bend your knees. When lifting, bend at the knees and hips, not at the waist. Hold heavy objects close to your body. If the worst happens and you get a backache, the prescription is rest in the right position. Try this. Relieve pain by taking all pressure off the back and legs, allowing your muscles to relax and heal.
So remember these tips and keep your back in line.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
And now stay tuned for the day's 5-day business planner. America's waking up to days inns, hotels, and suites. As we look at the weather map over the next 24 hours, the only real change in the west will be this little frontal system going to drop in because the ridge of high pressure is just weakening ever so slightly. What it'll mean is a little more of a Pacific influence, slightly cooler temperatures, and a chance of a stray shower along the northwest coast. The rest of the west will remain high and dry and rather dusty as well. Now, we look to the east, we'll see this front marching through the Great Lakes. It'll scatter some light showers with it, not a lot of moisture here. Much more as we find from eastern Texas to the lower Mississippi Valley into the Tennessee Valley. What we'll get is almost a combination of systems. The moisture will flow to the northeast. The front slides down from the Midwest, and they're going to combine to make it a little damp on Saturday up and down the Atlantic seaboard. A few showers again around the Puget Sound. And then by late in the afternoon on Saturday, a little low-pressure ripple forms along the front into the Atlantic. Going to keep it a little damp along the mid-Atlantic states, but high pressure clears out the Great Lakes rather nicely. It'll keep it dry and warm in the southwest with winds coming generally out of the north-northeast, and again, a few spotty showers in the northwest. Temperatures for today continue to be much more the same with 70s, 80s, and 90s over the western third of the country. The coldest air across the northern sliver of the nation with 30s and 40s for highs, while fairly seasonally mild 50s, 60s, and 70s through the rest of the nation. Looking forward to tomorrow morning, we'll see the milder air as that Gulf moisture rides north, and the coldest air will be behind the front in the upper Midwest. And as we work our way on into Saturday afternoon, again, the chilly air through the lakes in the northeast, seasonable elsewhere, and getting even warmer in the southwest as we'll see several spots in the southwestern locales top 100 degrees, and that trend continues on Sunday with the cold air beginning to shunt on eastward. And then by Monday, we see the beginnings of the warm-up in the southern plains states, and Tuesday even warmer in the western plains, while another shot of cold air works into the central Great Lakes. Again, on Saturday, it's going to be a bit damp up and down the eastern seaboard, generally some rain, and along the Puget Sound, but in between, dry weather. On Sunday, maybe some rain into Florida, also along the New England coast into the Jersey shore. There'll still be some lingering showers from that frontal system. And however, our next little clipper comes into the lakes, and that'll scatter some rain to the upper Midwest. On Monday, a Pacific system drops down into the plains, some scattered showers there, and then the eastern lakes may see some lingering rains. And by Tuesday, they all work their way east. A little more Gulf moisture feeds in, so some thunderstorms possible from Alexandria, Louisiana, on north in through the Ohio Valley, some rain into New England, and more Pacific moisture encompasses much of western Washington and Oregon, and even a good chunk of northern California, as well as southern Idaho. Now let's find out more specific information with a look at your regional weather. Call about Day's Simple Super Saver program. Restrictions do apply, and Simple Super Saver rooms are limited, so call now. Carl?
Thank you, Bruce. Stay tuned. If you have any weekend plans, maybe a getaway to Florida, your Florida forecast coming up. After that, we'll take a look at this morning's weather with radar stops out of Tennessee and Texas. Stay tuned.
I'm standing here to show you just how close some of our Days Inn hotels are to airports in over 40 major cities across North America. They have meeting rooms and restaurants, pools, lounges, and great rooms at great prices. And thanks to our ground crew, you can take off right from the hotel.
Call our toll-free number and see why America's waking up to us.
Call 800-325-2525 for reservations at Days locations nationwide.
Time now to take a look at the Florida forecast, sponsored by Panama City Beach, Florida's family beach. As we take a look at the satellite view, we can see some storminess well out in the Atlantic. The Caribbean looking in pretty fair shape, all in all. But we do see some clouds into the Gulf of Mexico, and there are approaching from the west a weak frontal system draped across central Florida, scattering some clouds, but nothing much in the way of rain right now. But the clouds will continue to thicken along the panhandle, and we'll see some of that moisture that's in the western Gulf begin to slide eastward through the course of the afternoon. However, not likely to see any showers developing until later on tonight. So generally, we call it partly cloudy over most of the Sunshine State of Florida. A little more abundant sunshine along the Gold Coast. That's terrific news. Surf temperatures continue to be nice and mild down around Miami at 75 degrees. And the forecast for this afternoon. Again, increasing clouds in the panhandle around Panama City, but dry. 74 degrees for a high this afternoon. Very pleasant. 83 degrees, partly sunny at Orlando. Miami will be peaking at about 84. Your look at your current weather follows this.
It's one of the most exciting seasons of the year on the world's most beautiful snow-white beaches, Panama City Beach, Florida. Springtime on Panama City Beach. Gentle breezes and warm Gulf waters create a semi-tropical paradise. Some say it's the best time of the year. Come discover Florida's family beach, Panama City Beach. Panama City, Panama City, Panama City, Florida's family beach.
This is one kind of lightweight, affordable hedge trimmer. Simple, but not easy. This is another kind. Easy, but not simple. Now there's a new kind. Introducing the HomeLite HT17 hedge trimmer. It's lightweight, easy to handle. There's no electrical cord, so it's simple to use. The new HomeLite gas-powered HT17. World's first affordable hedge trimmer that's both simple and easy. From HomeLite, everything you need to get your lawn done right.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
As we check on this morning's weather, let's show you the satellite view first of all, and we'll find the showers and the thunderstorms developing into South Texas, moving into eastern Texas, and some big ones offshore in the Gulf of Mexico, so boating may be not advised across the northwestern Gulf of Mexico. As much as 2 inches of rain in Kingsville, Texas, almost 3 inches there, and also around San Antonio, an inch of rain. Some light snow this morning around Concord, New Hampshire, but that's moving off, and here comes the next system bringing light rain around Chicago and over towards Detroit. The northwest, here comes another system. Clouds right now for the most part in the northwest, but this system here later tonight and tomorrow morning will bring a little bit in the way of some light rain around the Puget Sound, while the southwest dry and again warm. Let's show you the radar map and some showers and thunderstorms into Texas. Let's go out of Memphis, Tennessee right now. We'll show you the light rain around the radar side. Rain from Jackson on into Memphis and southward to Greenville, Mississippi. Some scattered light showers here. They're working their way on eastward. As we check the satellite view, we'll show you the clouds, showers, and thunderstorms across parts of southeastern Texas on into Louisiana. Let's show you an action radar out of this area, too. And we'll show you big thunderstorms around Beaumont, Texas, as they're producing 3/4 of an inch of rain there. Rain also moving on into Louisiana. Showers and thunderstorms here. Welcome rain to southeastern Texas, moving eastbound. The current map showing the moisture continuing to ride northward and showers and drizzle from Brownsville to San Antonio up towards Tyler, Texas, light rain. And we could find some scattered showers around Florida later on today. Here's some of the rainfall amounts. 2 3/4 of an inch of rain in Kingsville, over 2 inches in Stephenville, Texas. Corpus Christi, an inch of that came in 1 hour's time. Dallas, an inch and a half. San Antonio, an inch of rain for the start of Fiesta Week today. As you check the big picture, a cold front moving through the Great Lakes, producing a little bit in the way of some light rain. Detroit, Traverse City, on into Chicago, with some light snow in Duluth. But the western United States, all's quiet. As well as the east, some light rain still around Portland, Maine, but that's just about it. In the southeast, dried and cool this morning, especially around parts of the mid-Atlantic. Baltimore, Maryland, tied a record at 31. As we check the big temperature map, we'll find temperatures not that bad this morning across the nation. Mild in the southwest, but warm already into Florida. Stay tuned. We're going to take a look at your forecast and see what the weather holds in store for you.
This is it. Your day in the sun. You've got talent, experience, and equipment you can depend on. Charcoal made with premium woods to bring power and consistency to your game. Then, and only then, can you bask in the glow of victory. Kingsford Charcoal, what the pros use.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Local information here on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to the Weather Channel. It's the bottom of the hour. I'm Carl Arredondo. This is Bruce Edwards. I know some folks, besides taxes, may be inside watching a golf tournament in South Carolina.
That's right. They're playing out at Hilton Head at the Hilton Head Classic, at Heritage Classic there. Greg Norman, the defending champ. Might be a little damp, but they've had a lot of damp weather on the PGA Tour this year, so they've sort of gotten used to it after last week's soggy Masters in Augusta. They'll sort of get a little more rain coming on Saturday. Let's look at the forecast and see what it's like in Hilton Head and in your backyard. And generally, we'll be watching this big blotch of moisture now in Texas and in the Mississippi Valley. That'll be expanding to the east fairly rapidly. We're already getting some rain into Alabama, so that by tomorrow morning, the rain should be reaching Hilton Head, South Carolina, and be scattered up and down the eastern third of the country. Drier, cooler air into the Great Lakes states, generally dry elsewhere across most of the country. The only other exception might be a few stray showers showing up right across the Pacific Northwest. Now, by late tomorrow afternoon, a little low develops, so it'll keep it a little damp along the mid-Atlantic states with some showers around, possibly a thunderstorm, but it'll be moving fairly rapidly offshore by later on Saturday. Now, again, the rain right now will be accumulating an inch or better in the lower Mississippi Valley in many locations, and this into the southeast will be coming in later on tonight and again tomorrow morning. We're looking for maybe an inch or so of snow across the Keweenaw Peninsula in upper Michigan with some light snow behind the storm system. But that's where the cool air will be found there and into northern Maine. Much of the rest of the country can't kick about the temperatures with 60s, 70s, and 80s. Maybe a little too warm for some folks with 90s in the southwest. Tomorrow morning, a mild morning into the southeast, a little chilly in the upper Midwest. We'll take a detailed look at your weekend next.
The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
Looking now at your weekend outlook, some plans going on. We have Fiesta Week in San Antonio, Texas, and the golf tournament in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Tropical low pressure still in the east, ridge still in the west, going to remain warm there in the west, while still cool through the Great Lakes and the northeast. We'll show you those temperatures first of all, and to the north of that jet stream, temperatures the coolest, the 40s and the 50s through the Ohio River Valley and New England. But with the ridge of high pressure in the western United States in the upper levels, triple digits again expected in the southwest. The nation's hot spot yesterday was 98 degrees in Palm Springs, California. Looking at the 90s and the 100s there for tomorrow. This is tax day. Maybe you're going to spend the day inside, and a good idea because the eastern United States will be soggy from Maine on into Florida, back into New Orleans. But west of the Mississippi, dry conditions. Around the Puget Sound, maybe a little bit in the way of some light rain, but that will be drying out. The next system will bring some scattered showers around the upper Midwest with a mixture of rain and snow around International Falls and Warroad. But from the southeast through Texas and through the southwest, San Diego, Los Angeles, dry Sunday. New England, around Boston, New York could find a few showers for your Sunday. Temperature-wise, well, not a big change in the temperature. Still very hot in the southwest, mild to the northwest, but the plains and the Mississippi River Valley warming up into the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, while New England cooling down a bit to the 40s and 50s. If you're traveling today for that weekend getaway, your business travel forecast coming up. Also, your traveler's update. Stay tuned.
The winds of change are sweeping through Russia, the new spirit of glasnost. As the doors open, Russia's almost forgotten arts, like their exquisite painting on black lacquerware, are once again available to art lovers in the free world. Now this magnificent porcelain plate is the first collector's plate ever created in Russia. Inspired by a Russian folk legend and based on the Russian lacquerware original, it's now available through the Bradford Exchange. The hand-numbered edition is limited to a maximum of 195 firing days, after which no more will ever be made. Bradford Exchange analysts believe that this Russian Legends plate, like other exceptional first issues, could have great profit potential. And it comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee. To order yours at the $29.87 issue price, call toll-free and charge it to your Visa or MasterCard, or order COD. But call now while you can still get the first Russian collector's plate at issue price.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Me stain wood? That's a job for professionals.
Would you try a stain made for amateurs?
Well...
Czar Wood Stain.
Okay.
Other stains are made for professionals, but Czar Wipe-On Stain makes it easy for first-timers to get beautiful results. And Czar's controlled penetration gives you plenty of time to wipe off excess and avoid streaks and lap marks.
It looks great. It's so easy. Even my husband could do it.
And for lasting protection, use Czar Clear Finishes. Czar Wood Finishing Products, the best thing that ever happened to wood.
Look for Czar products at this dealer near you.
If you are doing some traveling this afternoon for business or pleasure, perhaps get a weekend getaway or heading home after a week of travel on the road, we've got your business traveler's forecast. And then after that, we'll take a look at road conditions for those of you running errands around town or taking the car out for a weekend getaway. Right now, the business travel forecast.
Get your pencil ready. Here comes a toll-free number for a free catalog on the Trailblazer sickle bar mower from Troy-Built. Ordinary lawnmowers can only mow your manicured front lawn, but the Trailblazer mows off your lawn, giving you control of your entire property, even your most impossible areas. Now you can neatly maintain walls and fences, quickly eliminate brush around outbuildings, easily carve out safe fire breaks and paths, even keep streams and ponds open, beautiful, and useful. Trailblazer actually slices through weeds and brush like a hot knife through butter. You'll even topple brush and saplings up to 1/2 inch thick. And with high traction powered wheels, steep hills are no problem. Call now for a free catalog and full details on a special limited time savings offer. For free information on the off-lawn Trailblazer sickle bar mower, call toll-free 1-800-453-8500. That's 1-800-453-8500 for free information. Please call now.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
I just bought this quality flatbed on sale. I made a smart buy.
I just bought this Craftmatic 2 adjustable bed, and I paid over $100 less for my bed than that guy.
I have problems when I read. I have to stack up pillows.
I simply press this button, and instantly my bed positions itself for perfect reading.
I have problems when I snack. I spill stuff. Why did I buy a flat bed?
My Craftmatic 2 positions itself for perfect eating.
I paid top price, and I still don't get a good night's sleep.
I'm no dummy. I bought a Craftmatic 2 adjustable bed.
Be smart. Don't buy any bed until you get this free information by mail about the Craftmatic 2 adjustable bed that costs less than many flat beds. Call toll-free now for free information.
Call 1-800-368-8100. That's 1-800-368-8100. Toll-free. Call 1-800-368-8100.
Now 27 before the top of the hour. Make that 17 before the top of the hour. Let's take a look at your Traveler's Update. As promised, if you're doing some errands this afternoon, a little shopping on this Friday, you're taking the kids to Cub Scout meetings, Girl Scout meetings, soccer, Little League practice, well, might be rained out here because of the persistent rains through the lower Mississippi Valley. Some spotty rains, Michigan, Illinois, and into Iowa. But other than that, no real problems as far as the wet weather. Showers and will be developing in through central Tennessee and right now into around Muscle Shoals, Alabama. So it'll be a bit damp there, the roads. And there'll be some isolated showers across Florida. Possibly a strong thunderstorm may erupt, so that could contain some locally heavy downpours of rain and some gusty winds, and that same threat will hold true along the Louisiana and Texas Gulf Coast this afternoon. Now, even without thunderstorms, the winds are pretty brisk around the Great Lakes with that low-pressure cell in the front whipping through. 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts will be found down as far south as Chicagoland, so the Windy City will live up to its name, and across Michigan, and even at times and through Indiana and Ohio, wind gusts out of the southwest could top 30 miles per hour. Stay with us. We'll have a lot more coming up, including a look at spring weather update and your weekend outlook after this.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can rise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Only a few days left to take advantage of this special offer from AT&T. Listen.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month,
in long-distance services. And you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier. We want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance.
And that's not all. With AT&T Pro Watts, no special lines or equipment are needed. Get distance-sensitive pricing, get a detailed record of individual calls, and you save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call 1-800-222-0400. Remember, we'll pay to switch you over. We'll pay the installation fee, and if you're not satisfied, we'll pay to switch you back. Call now. Pro Watts offer ends April 15th.
Current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Local information here on the Weather Channel.
It's a Friday, time to start thinking about the weekend, whether it's time to do the taxes or get out to the yard and cut the grass. Great Lakes and Northeast, still cooler weather with the temperatures to the north of the trough a little cool, but south of it warm and mild and hot as the ridge remains fairly entrenched in the west. Temperature-wise, first of all, to the north of the jet stream, we'll find the cooler air in the Great Lakes and the Northeast. As we check on the Saturday's temperatures, we'll find the 40s and the 50s there. In the west, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and even the 100s in the southwest. The southeast going to be rainy through Georgia, mid-Atlantic on into New England. So Saturday, finish up the taxes. It's going to be wet, so you'll have to be inside there. And the Puget Sound, still a little bit in the way, some moisture there. Sunday, another system bringing showers from Chicago to Green Bay on into Minneapolis. And New England with the exit of the first system, still a few showers around New England and into Florida, but the west dry and again warm and hot. Even the Plain States warming up with the 70s and 80s, and the Northeast, the Great Lakes, we're finding still a cool weather with the 50s and the 40s, so we'll find some scattered showers, and we'll also see the rain moving into parts of New England and leaving the area.
Hey, Phil, it's Ross. Your bid came in this morning. How soon can you come down for a face-to-face?
Hi, Philip. I need you here for some planning meetings. Just let me know when you're
Business is tough. The least your airline can do is make sure that business travel isn't. That's why United offers the most service across the U.S. and the Pacific. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Hey, Phil, I sure hope you haven't unpacked your bags yet, pal.
United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. For reservations, call United Airlines or your local travel agent.
This local forecast is sponsored by Avis. At Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
Instead of spending your weekend cutting the green, get a great weekend rate from Avis and save some green. Avis. We try harder to make it easier. How do you get a well-equipped late model Avis car with absolutely unlimited mileage? No matter how long you keep it, you buy it from Avis Car Sales. Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
The current conditions. 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
10 minutes now before the top of the hour, spring weather update shows some rain through the southern plains, lower Mississippi River Valley, but not too many thunderstorms. We do have a few popping hither and yon in the old piney woods of East Texas, Sabine River Valley, but nothing of a severe nature. We don't anticipate any either. The clouds are increasing and the showers will be spreading to the northeast. Still a little snow, and that's very unspring-like across the upper Midwest. The satellite view again of the Gulf shows the heaviest storms into the Gulf of Mexico. A few embedded heavier thunderstorm cells, though, as we mentioned, in through the Sabine River Pass, and we may see a few strong storms yet this afternoon along the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast, and scattered later today the thunderstorms across central Florida. As we take a look at the rainfall over Texas and parts of the Southland, ending at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Kingsville, Texas, over 2 3/4 inches of rain. Stephenville has had over 2 inches of rain. Corpus Christi, almost 2 inches there, and over 1.5 inches in Dallas. San Antonio, over 1 inch of rain. So again, some good rains across Texas to help the garden and the lawn grow just a little bit better. And the potential precipitation amounts between now and 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, at least about 1/2 inch to perhaps 1 inch. Looks like 1 inch or better across the Gulf coastal region of Texas and Louisiana. Now, this rain in the Carolinas will be coming in very late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and so again, not nearly as heavy. Some snowflakes flying across the upper lakes. We could see 1 inch or so accumulation around the Keweenaw Peninsula of Michigan. Stay with us. Coming next, a detailed look at the Michelin Drivers Report.
Should your name be on this envelope? It should if you or someone you love is age 50 to 80, and it will be addressed to you if you call now for this important information. Free information about a life insurance policy designed especially for men and women age 50 to 80. Life insurance with no physical examination and no medical questions. Because of a limited benefit period, you cannot be turned down for any reason. And your premium will be $6.95 a month and will never increase. Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company wants to send you the important information in this envelope, and it's free. So if you are age 50 to 80 and thought it would be difficult to buy life insurance, shouldn't you call now? Here's the number.
For free information in the mail, call 1-800-822-4900. This is a free call, 1-800-822-4900.
The 36-hour forecast. Day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
6 before the top of the hour, it's now time for your Michelin Drivers Report. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. As we check the system into Texas, rainy weather continuing from San Antonio to Houston on into Shreveport, Louisiana, and rain back into parts of Mississippi now. Memphis, Tennessee, also some rain, as well as Greenville, Mississippi. Scattered showers, maybe an occasional thunder shower. So keep that in mind if you're traveling Interstate 45 north out of Houston up towards Big D. Could find some showers for today. Rainy weather also in parts of Michigan. We have seen some rain this morning around Detroit now. And it's on the light side, though, with a cold front working its way through the Great Lakes. Florida could find a few scattered showers today. Maybe even a strong thunder shower in the Sunshine State. Also parts of the southern parishes of Louisiana. And coastal sections of Texas could find some strong thunder showers, heavy downpours, and maybe some small hailstones. As far as windy weather, with that cold front moving through the Great Lakes, winds could be gusting about 30 miles per hour, so keep that in mind. Other than that, winds not much of a problem. Still to come, Cheryl Lemke and Mike Bono and your current weather. Stay tuned.
Michelin tires are part of today's lifestyles.
I've always been the kind of guy to make my own roads.
Has it been 10 years? You look great.
You own what company?
Is he Olympic material? Just look at that stride.
And there's my little angel, Laurie!
Michelin, Sportline, or Light Truck Series, in a class by itself.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Weather Channel, and you tuned in just in time to look at the current weather across the country. We're basically looking at some fair skies up and down the eastern seaboard. High pressure 2 rules supreme out in the west. A few high-level clouds, but overall a very dry weather pattern in the west. But that has not been the story down in Texas. Some heavier showers and some storms. Most recently, the heavier rains moving across Montgomery and Liberty counties in Texas, where earlier this morning they had reports of anywhere from 3 to as much as 4 inches of rain. Again, the most active weather today across the nation's midsection, but let's first of all focus in on the northeast. A bit of light snow continuing across upstate New York. Then we have a little bit of light rain for Portland, Maine, but high pressure will be building in through today, and most of the northeast and the mid-Atlantic should enjoy partly to mostly sunny skies today. A very nice day overall then, but enjoy today's weather, because if you wait until tomorrow, the weather won't be quite so nice, as we do have a cold front pressing in through the Great Lakes, and that system will promise to bring some rain to most of the northeast come tomorrow. Now, as we head southward, still looking at some relatively clear skies for the Carolinas and Georgia. Here, too, though, clouds will be on the increase as the day wears on, and we'll see some rain, too, possibly popping up. Right now, though, most of the rain's confined to Texas, and more rains, too, over towards Louisiana, around Barksdale and Shreveport, Louisiana. The rain also coming down around Greenville and Greenwood, Mississippi, and even Tupelo, Mississippi, reporting some rain. We also have a front straddling through Florida. It could spark a few scattered showers and storms here as the day goes on. Then back into the Plain States, here's our cold front, also setting off some rain for places like Glenview and Rockford, and also Chicago, Illinois. Some lighter rain, too, around Muskegon and over towards Grand Rapids. We had some snow earlier across the UP of Michigan, and as that front passes on by, you might see possibly 1 to 3 inches of wet snow up around the Keweenaw Peninsula today. The west, though, will be hard-pressed to see much in the way of rainfall or snowfall, because high pressure really dominates the western third of the nation, and that means a very dry weather pattern. Most of the weather systems have been deflected way up to the north. They're moving up across British Columbia, and that leaves the west very, very dry yet again today, and likewise for tomorrow. Temperatures remaining unseasonably warm, too, out in the west. Currently 57 degrees for Portland. Under partly cloudy skies, Seattle is checking in at 53, 64 degrees down in Las Vegas. As we head up towards Chicago, a temperature of 50, 44 for Boston, and looking very mild down in Florida, 78 for Tampa, and currently Miami at 83 degrees. Here's our national radar scan, and let's go on one local radar stop out of Memphis, Tennessee. The rain from Jackson and over towards Memphis, and some scattered rains back towards Arkansas around Pine Bluff and even around Tupelo, Mississippi, reporting some rain. It's all scooting off towards the east at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. That's a look at the current weather scene across the nation. Stay tuned. Coming up in just a few moments, we take a look at the good afternoon forecast for the entire nation.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Weather Channel with Mike Bono, and I'm Cheryl Lemke. Still looking at a very soggy scenario down in Texas, and hopefully it might get better as we go on in through time.
But they need the rain in a lot of the southeast, although Longview, Texas, with all their heavy rains, doesn't need any more right now. But on into the Tennessee Valley, you'll get some more. And we'll tell you about the weekend in just a minute. But right now, the Good Afternoon forecast is sponsored by Rubbermaid, built to bounce back. Don't you wish everything was made like Rubbermaid? And we'll go on into the late afternoon hours and show you what that coming up on the weekend weather looks like here at the Weather Channel. High pressure moving off the east coast pumps up some southerly winds, but not for long. In fact, Baltimore, Maryland had a record low of 31 this morning. It'll pop up into the 50s, maybe 60s before the day is out. Some changes in the wind, though, with low pressure whipping through the Great Lakes, some colder air and some flakes up there. But look at that rain spreading into Tennessee and on into parts of North Carolina late in the day as low pressure, and this is a fairly dry one, hangs over the Great Basin. Now we move on into your weekend. Saturday, a weak cool front will cool you down mostly in the Pacific Northwest. A little bit of precipitation, very little. A heat low in the southwest, and one front whipping through the lakes draws up some moisture from this one. Ahead of it, the southerly flow kicks up the Gulf moisture and generates a low along the Carolina coast. That by late day Saturday as a high settles on in over the Ohio Valley, and this front is not very wet, but it certainly will generate a lot of wind, as evidenced by all these isobars in the northern Rockies and the basin. Not much precipitation through 7 a.m. Saturday, but over a ½ inch in these medium green areas and over an inch in the dark green along the Gulf Coast. We're seeing some snowfall, but not a whole lot on into the upper peninsula of Michigan. 1 to 3 inches is about all we can squeeze out of that one. With some 30s in northern New England for the highs today. Lots of 60s, 70s toward the south. Not a real heat wave until you get into the southwest. And finally, on Saturday morning, we've got a lot of chilly low temperature readings in the upper Midwest once again, and some milder weather to the south. Speaking of the weekend outlook, Cheryl will be up in just a minute telling you about Saturday and Sunday and showing you the jet stream.
Rubbermaid waste cans are built to withstand an accidental, an occasional, and still bounce back for more. Don't you wish everything was made like Rubbermaid?
The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
Let's check out the weather for your weekend. And first of all, starting off with the jet stream, we still have that trough of low pressure plaguing parts of the east, bringing some very soggy weather here for this weekend. Meanwhile, in the west, a high pressure ridge, and that will ensure some very warm temperatures throughout the western third of the nation. Now, first of all, speaking of temperatures, our highs then on Saturday. Highs only climbing into the 40s for places like International Falls and Sault Ste. Marie. Pretty chilly, too, back over towards New England. But a nice warming trend taking place for the nation's midsection, the 60s and the 70s. And then warmer still across the Great Basin, 90s and 100s will be on tap for this weekend. And as far as precipitation is concerned, a weak system will brush the northwestern coast, maybe bring a stray shower or two around the Puget Sound. But without a doubt, the most wet weather can be found up and down the eastern seaboard, from Boston down towards Cape Hatteras, maybe some locally heavy downpours for Saturday afternoon. Sunday promises to be a little bit better as things start to dry out and clear out somewhat over the east. But another system will be sagging through the upper plains, bringing some scattered rain and maybe even some snow up around International Falls. Most of the country, though, west of the Rockies, again, very dry and very parched this weekend. So it will be a great weekend for outdoor activities. Go ahead with those plans. We'll see the heat continuing to 80s, 90s, and 100s. And looking fairly nice, too, across the Mississippi Valley and the plains as we see the 70s and 80s bubbling up towards the north. Well, a lot of you may be planning on going boating, so stay tuned for the Boat and Beach Report in just a few moments.
Attention home gardeners. The makers of the legendary rear-tine Troy-Bilt tiller bring you an exciting price breakthrough. It's the new, incredibly low-cost Troy-Bilt Tuffy model. The Tuffy is so easy to handle you can guide it with just one hand. It makes deep, smooth seed beds, instantly adjusts for shallow weeding, and chops and mixes in organic matter to give you rich, loose soil like this, perfect for building a prize-winning vegetable garden and for growing delicious favorites like asparagus, strawberries, blueberries, rhubarb, and more. The Tuffy also helps beautify your entire property by preparing gorgeous flower and ornamental beds. The incredible price breakthrough Troy-Bilt Tuffy model makes it all possible.
For free details on the new low-cost Troy-Bilt Tuffy, plus our larger tiller models, call toll-free 1-800-441-3434. We'll send our free catalog to you right away. That's 1-800-441-3434. Please call now.
How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the web.
It is 75 right now in Central Park. The humidity is at even
less for my bed than that guy. I have problems when I read. I have to stack up pillows.
I simply press this button and instantly...
We paid top price, and I still don't get a good night's sleep. I'm no dummy. I bought a Craftmatic 2 adjustable bed.
Be smart. Don't buy any bed until you get this free information by mail about the Craftmatic 2 adjustable bed that costs less than many flat beds. Call toll-free now for free information.
Call 1-800-368-8100. That's 1-800-368-8100 toll-free. Call 1-800-368-8100.
As we draw off further and further into April, we get more and more interested in the Boat and Beach Report, and finally the East Coast is getting some weather where you can at least get out there to the marina. You won't get blown away or frozen. Nevertheless, the winds will be kind of light in that area, and that's kind of good, but take a look to the west. More wind and more cold coming in from the Great Lakes. Nothing like you've seen in the last week. The higher winds over 25 miles per hour will be in the darker shades of red, and the orange coming in with 15 to 25. Another cool front with another punch of air coming down from Canada for you the next couple of days. Here's that line of clouds that will be associated with that in the Great Lakes, and some rain eventually turning to snow showers, but not like the frigid weather of a few days ago. Look at these water temperatures, though. Upper 30s New England coast to mid-40s toward Ocean City, Maryland, but sun, and that's good weather, and lighter winds on the middle Atlantic coast, finally. But then the clouds increase in the south, and you'll have rain in a lot of these dark gray, cloudy areas today. Thundery weather, especially around the Gulf Coast, so be on the lookout with water temps approaching 70 or 71 around the Texas coast, and fairly light winds except where those thunderstorms hit hard. We'll have fairly light winds on the west coast, although the Washington coast 15 to 25, mostly in gusts. A sunny scene in your west, but very chilly water temps, and right along that coastline to inland a few miles or so. In the northwest, you'll have some clouds. Here's Cheryl.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Stay with us. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, we take a look at the weather for the next 5 days. All that and more coming up right here at the Weather Channel.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Considering all the money you can pour into making coffee, don't you think it's worth about a penny for a filter that can make it taste great? Mr. Coffee Filters, the first choice of coffee lovers.
Stay tuned now for the Lawn and Garden Extra, sponsored by ChemLawn for the very best in lawn, tree, and shrub care.
This is my lawn, and I love to work on it. I feed it. I keep track of its growth, its thickness. I know every inch of this lawn, and if there's a problem, I fix it. I give it the kind of care and attention you just can't count on from any lawn care company. I mean, this may not be my house, but it is my lawn.
We care and it shows. ChemLawn, we care and it shows.
Take the hassle out of lawn care. Call today for a free ChemLawn no-obligation analysis and estimate.
A beautiful lawn like this one takes more than just good intentions. It requires a proper balance of carbon dioxide from the air, water and oxygen from the soil, and the right kind of nutrients from fertilizer. And your grass needs those nutrients at just the right time and in just the right amounts. In early spring, your lawn needs fertilizer to give it that first spurt of growth and color. This is also a good time to apply crabgrass controls, which will prevent problems during the summer. Be prepared for another fertilizer application later in the spring. That will get the grass ready for the stresses of summer heat. Fertilize again in midsummer using a product specifically designed not to burn the grass. Then in fall, do another application to help the lawn recover from summer and strengthen it for better growth the following spring. Now, if all this seems like too much of a hassle, hire a professional service. Then all you have to do in your yard is enjoy it. I'm Bruce Edwards.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Celebrate America's entertainment choice. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights. Superstars, super hits, styles and trends, winners and losers, inspiration, destinations, facts and figures, sales and bargains, great debates, fun and games. 24 hours a day, cable's choice is your choice. And during National Cable Month, watch for a different cable network every night featured in prime time. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights.
Stay tuned for the Days In 5-Day Business Planner, keeping track of storm systems, hazardous weather, and poor road conditions that may affect your business travel. The Days In 5-Day Business Planner coming up in just a few minutes right here on the Weather Channel.
The current conditions.
Weather Channel.
Time once again for Eating Smart, sponsored by America's Dairy Farmers, reminding you that cheese makes all the difference in making food taste better.
A potato, broccoli, a bagel. These foods are all good for you, but served alone, there's something missing. You can multiply both their taste and their nutrition by adding cheese. This plain baked potato contains energizing carbohydrates, but by adding shredded cheddar cheese, you'll also get almost 40% of your daily recommended allowance of protein. Add zest to broccoli with creamy cheese sauce and satisfy 70% of your daily calcium requirement. The same cheese sauce on vitamin-rich cauliflower brings you over 90% of your daily protein and half your necessary calcium. Sandwiches are an American staple for lunch, and by pairing a slice of cheese with this turkey, I can add flavor while boosting the calcium intake by almost 25%. Soft, spreadable cream cheese is always tasty on a bagel, and it almost doubles the calcium and protein available. So multiply your nutrition with cheese. It makes all the difference.
A cheese riddle. Say, ma'am, what do you get when you add Monterey Jack cheese to plain chili? Happy cowboys. Cheese makes it taste even better, so don't forget the cheese.
The weather in your car is sponsored by Turtle Wax. For that eye-catching, head-turning, double-taking, no-mistaking Turtle Wax shine.
It's that eye-catching, head-turning, double-taking, no-mistaking, gleaming, beaming, unbelieving Turtle Wax shine. That neck-craning, shine-sustaining, heart-shell finish, undiminished, traffic-stopping, eye-popping Turtle Wax shine. Now check it out, ain't no doubt, this is what it's all about. Turtle Wax shine. Turtle Wax.
Weather in your car. Protect your car against the elements with good advice from Mac the Mechanic.
I want you to take a good look at this vinyl top. It's on a 1973 model car, but it's the original vinyl top. This is my car. The condition of this vinyl top didn't happen by accident. I wax this vinyl top at least every 3 months with a good vinyl top wax. It looks just like the day it came out of the factory. I want you to look at other cars with vinyl tops that are late model cars and see how they've peeled, they're rotten, they're even flapping in the breeze. You can prevent this from happening by waxing your vinyl top at least every 3 months. You know what happens to a vinyl top? When they're not waxed, they absorb moisture and water. It gets underneath the vinyl top, the metal portion starts rusting, and that's how the vinyl top becomes so bad looking. So if you want your vinyl top to last, take a tip from Mac the Mechanic and keep it waxed on a regular basis. This is good advice from Mac the Mechanic.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
And now stay tuned for the day's 5-day business planner. America's waking up to days inns, hotels, and suites. And believe me, if you were waking up in Maryland this morning, you were waking up to some chilly temperatures. We had a record low this morning for Baltimore, dropping all the way down to 31 degrees. Temperatures, though, will be recovering nicely this afternoon with lots of sunshine as that high pressure remains in control over most of the eastern seaboard. And by this afternoon, highs soaring into the 60s for places like Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, kind of cloudy, damp, and dreary for the Tennessee Valley and on into eastern Texas. This low-pressure system and the stalled-out front in the northern Gulf will help to amplify the situation, bringing more showers and storms as the day goes on. But you'll be hard-pressed to see much in the way of wet weather as we head out towards the west. Come late today and early tomorrow morning, however, a weak system will brush the northwestern coast, bringing a few stray showers along with it. But without a doubt, the most active weather will continue for much of the eastern seaboard, with lots of rain, possibly some heavier rains too, moving in across the Carolinas by late Saturday afternoon. Highs today rather chilly across upstate New York and over towards New England, highs in the 30s and 40s. Cool too across the upper Mississippi Valley. Much of the country, though, looking at some fairly mild temperatures, 60s and 70s. Quite warm, though, across California and sections of the Southwest. Saturday morning promises to be rather chilly throughout most of the country as we see the 20s and the 30s. Fairly mild, though, right along the immediate Gulf Coast. Then as we head on into the weekend, again, the weekend getting off to a very nice start across the Mississippi Valley and the Plain States, the 60s and the 70s. Some 80s, however, across Oklahoma and Texas. And then on Monday, well, the work week getting off to a cool start across the Great Lakes in the Northeast, 40s and 50s there. But the warm weather really prevails across most of the nation's midsection. No complaints with those temperatures. A very, very nice work week shaping up for most of the plains, the Mississippi Valley, and the West. Well, come this weekend, definitely keep the rain gear handy. The rains will likely continue for places like Burlington, Vermont, and over towards Boston. The rain showers all the way down towards the Carolinas. Then on Sunday, much of the country quiet, except up around the Great Lakes. A system sagging down out of Canada will cause some scattered showers there, and maybe even a little bit of snow up around International Falls. A chance for light dusting of snowfall, too, up around Caribou. By Monday, we see the system pulling into the Plain States, spreading more showers along with it. And it gets even more active on Tuesday. That system pulls across the Ohio Valley, bringing some beneficial rains for Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. The southeast rather dry, and dry too as we stretch back towards the southwest. Stay tuned now for some local observations and forecasts. Call about Days Simple Super Saver program. Restrictions do apply, and Simple Super Saver rooms are limited, so call now. Mike?
Thanks, Cheryl. Do stay tuned to the Weather Channel. In just the next very few minutes, we have a local forecast and a current weather roundup showing some thunderstorms in the south. Stay tuned.
If you're doing business, you probably have one of these, the American Express card. And if you're away from home to do that business, you're probably staying at one of these, Days Inns, Hotels, and Suites. Just last year, we saw over 2 million American Express card members at Days Inns, nearly twice as many as the year before. The way I see it, by next year, you'll have no business staying anywhere else.
Call 800-325-2525 for reservations at Days locations nationwide.
Welcome back to the Weather Channel. We'll check this afternoon's weather roundup right now, and as we do, we'll take that satellite looper and we'll go to the eye in the sky, and you can see how things are moving from left to right and north to south, and wow, just take a look at all that action that we have down around Texas and Arkansas and Louisiana. Lots of clouds as they move on from the west to the east, and now beginning to get kind of heavy. Notice this big blossoming area off the Texas coast, which has moved to the east. A lot of heavy thunderstorms of the tropical variety, although not a tropical disturbance. But up into the Arctotex, we have that precipitation cruising on right now up into Tennessee eventually, and maybe into parts of Georgia by the end of the day. Light precipitation, some light rain around Portland, Maine, and also some clouds streaming in out of the Rockies and the high plains, and some nicer, drier weather in the southwest part of the nation. We'll go to that national map right now, the highs, the lows, the fronts, and watch as that front sort of plummets on down as it comes down out of Canada with some snow moving into the arrowhead of Minnesota once again, a heat low in the desert, a little bit cooler air though on the immediate coast, and even in the northwest you'll have some milder weather, although again cooler air on the coast. Some rain, heavy at times around Kingsville, Texas, and Palacios and Corpus Christi, some rain coming in too. And we do have some precipitation totals that we'll show you in just a minute. Now, there was some snow, light snow at that, and wet snow at that in the Adirondacks around Plattsburgh, Saranac Lake, very light. High pressure brought your temperature to very chilly levels around Baltimore, Maryland, 31 degrees at the Baltimore-Washington Airport. Some light rain in Michigan on into parts of the Chicagoland area and Milwaukee. But here is where the big precipitation area will blossom during the day, with light rains toward the Arklatex becoming moderate. It has been moderate around Longview, and you've got some thunder showers around Beaumont and Kingsville, Texas, and that rain moving into northern Mississippi and eventually western Tennessee. As the snow encircles the low in Canada and some light rain threatens parts of North Dakota, a little bit cooler in that area, but a beautiful moderate weather pattern on into the west coast, the Great Basin. Some warm weather, especially abnormally mild for the northwest U.S. Already up to 53 at Seattle in the morning hours, 60 around Burbank, and 53 in Boise. But 72 in Phoenix should take you at least up to 90 today. And we've got some 37-degree weather in Duluth, 60s to 50s along much of the nation's midsection, better than you've been seeing much of the last week, and some 37-degree weather at Caribou, but 69 at Jacksonville, which has been in the upper 30s during the week, too. Some light rain around Portland on radar and some, well, rain to the north and south on this radar view. We'll take some radar stops right now. First of all, into Detroit and Michigan, showing some very light rain around Flint towards Saginaw, and off to the west, a little moderate rain thrown in, too. Also just west of Fort Wayne, moving east. Another radar stop should take us on into Shreveport, Louisiana, with some rain around there to Barksdale, to Alexandria, and Leesville, Monroe, and up toward Texarkana and Longview, Texas, getting some rain. That moving eastward. And one more radar stop. We'll put it into motion for you. This one on into Lake Charles, Louisiana, with the light to moderate rain coming out of Texas, the Golden Triangle, moving toward Lake Charles and Alexandria and eventually into Mississippi. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We have a good afternoon forecast coming up.
Just think of having the convenience of a copier and a fax machine right in your office. Not enough space? Too much money? Not anymore. With the Murata M1200, you've got a high-speed fax machine, an office copier, and a full-feature telephone in one compact, low-cost unit that takes up less space than a standard typewriter. With the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier, you won't be losing time traveling back and forth to a copy fax center. And the M1200 is so inexpensive, you can afford to keep one at home for those rare occasions when you've left an important document behind. Like all Murata products, the M1200 is reliable and backed by great service and support. For a limited time, the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier is specially priced at only $675. Call MJP at 1-800-937-9393 now for complete details with no obligation. That's 1-800-937-9393 for more information about the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier. Call now.
The 36-hour forecast. Day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
This even flow kink-free hose from Colorite Waterworks. Somebody's finally come up with a hose where the water always flows. And there's no dribble when the hose is twisted on a hanger or a reel. No trickles when the hose gets caught going around a corner. Just an even flow of water, always. Prove it to yourself. Try this. Even flow garden hose is guaranteed to stay kink-free and the water always flows. Even flow kink-free hose from Colorite Waterworks at better lawn and garden departments everywhere.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Weather Channel.
Thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel. It's Friday, TGIF. I'm Mike Bono with Cheryl Lemke, and I know you're interested in the weekend. We'll tell you about it in just a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of soggy for some folks, unfortunately.
And, yeah, most folks need it, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess in some cases the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer, unfortunately. The West.
That's a good way to sum it up, yeah. Let's see how the weather's shaping up for the next 24 hours, though, first of all. Starting off by a little bit later on this afternoon, and boy, it's going to be a soggy one for eastern Texas, Louisiana, and much of the Tennessee Valley, a day to keep the rain gear handy. The showers will continue to develop as the day wears on, and the culprit behind all this wet weather is, first of all, a low-pressure disturbance scooting out of Texas, while at the same time we have a stalled-out front in the northern Gulf, and that's helping to aggravate the situation, keeping it very, very wet, damp, and very unsettled down across the deep south. Another front sweeping in across the Great Lakes. The winds will be picking up today and also spreading some scattered rain and some snow, too, up across the UP of Michigan. Most of the west, though, will be seeing high pressure and dry conditions this weekend, although a weak front will be able to brush and just barely make its way across Washington come Saturday morning. It may spawn a few stray showers from the Puget Sound and back over towards Seattle, but don't count your chickens before they're hatched, as things will stay very dry for the most part out in the west, but not so in the east, as the rains will continue and more rains developing across the Carolinas by late in the day on Saturday. Today, the heavier rains, or at least the most generous rains, from the western Tennessee Valley and down towards Texas. We could see some possibly an inch or more rainfall not out of the question along the Texas coastal bend today. Meanwhile, as we head to the north, the snow from the Keweenaw Peninsula and over towards Marquette, maybe 1 to 2 inches of wet snow today. Still rather chilly, too, for New England. A nice warming trend, though, for the nation's midsection, and very hot across southern California. And come Saturday morning, most of the country on the cool side, we see the 20s and the 30s, especially in the upper Midwest. Mike?
Thanks a lot, Cheryl. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. In just the next couple of minutes, we have everything you need to plan your weekend. First, your 36-hour local forecast, and then the weekend outlook here on the Weather Channel.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
It's Friday, and we can take that look on ahead into the weekend and see how things are shaping up. The jet, once again on Saturday, down in the east, kind of cool to the north of that. And on into Sunday, the jet sort of pops up in the west, Saturday and Sunday, meaning very warm in the west, and still a little cool pocket in the lakes in the northeast, but that should start to draw northward just after Sunday into the first part of next week. A lot of warm air should spread in. Let's take a look at some temperatures. As you can see, the big roller coaster, or kind of like a trampoline or a pillow full of feathers. You jump on this side, the other side pops up. So the cold air is in the northeast and parts of the lakes, and the west comes in with 70s clear on into a lot of Montana and hundreds in the desert on Saturday. We're looking at a dry scene, though, west, except maybe a little sliver of the northwest coast getting some rain, and more significant and possibly heavy rains mid-Atlantic up into southern New England as low pressure tracks on right along the coast. Then Sunday, that goes away, except for leftover snows to the north, some showers in Florida, and again, the dryness goes on in the west. Now, those temps, once again, a nose of 50s down into the Appalachians with that cool front in the east, but the 80s, the 70s popping up through the middle as that jet stream sort of rises up, and on into the southwest, still hundreds and 90s coming on into that area. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We've got lots more weather coming up, including the international weather.
Fast, powerful, responsive. The CAT computer is a superior IBM-compatible personal computer with all the features you want at a price that makes buying a CAT easy. The CAT computer has 640K RAM, a 20 megabyte hard disk, a color monitor, a full keyboard, and even a mouse. The CAT computer runs all the terrific word processing, accounting, and graphics software. With a CAT computer, you can finally afford the computing power you've always wanted. To get all these features anywhere else, you'd have to spend as much as $4,000 or more. Through this special limited offer, MJP Federated is offering the CAT computer for just $999. And remember, that includes a color monitor, a mouse, and a 20 megabyte hard disk. Call the toll-free number on your screen for a free brochure. Call 1-800-937-9393 today for the powerful, affordable CAT computer.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Sun 54 to 73. Seattle partly cloudy with a high of 69. We'll be right back.
In 13 cities in 10 countries across the Pacific, they're playing our song. United Airlines Royal Pacific Service. Rededicated to giving you the service you deserve halfway around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
in the county jail.
And here he is, the king, Elvis Presley. Elvis, a legend in his own time, and a legend that's still growing today. Now, a very special collector's plate, Jailhouse Rock by artist Bruce Emmett, has been officially endorsed by the Elvis Presley estate and is now available through the Bradford Exchange. The edition will be limited to a maximum of 150 firing days. So act now if you wish to own this fine collector's plate. Here at the Bradford Exchange, analysts have watched exceptional plates like these escalate dramatically in value. Jailhouse Rock appears to have similar profit potential and is backed by Bradford's 365-day money-back guarantee. So if you want this important collector's plate at the issue price of $24.75, call this toll-free number now. Charge it to your Visa or MasterCard or order COD. Call now to order your Jailhouse Rock plate before it's too late.
Well, if you're possibly planning a trip to Europe, the weather's shaping up rather nicely. At least during the month of April, we see the mild 50s and 60s throughout most of Europe. Then warmer still down across southern Spain, as highs will be topping into the 70s typically during April. But you better pack the umbrella. A lot of damp weather shaping up, especially across the British Isles, where 16 to as many as 20 days during the month, we usually do see some measurable precipitation. Now, when we head on into the weekend, a low-pressure system will be bringing some scattered rains across Romania and on into western Russia. Aside from that, another system bearing down on the United Kingdom. That, too, will bring some gusty winds and some rain showers across Wales, Scotland, and England. Temperatures looking fairly good for the most part, but cooler than usual up around the Swiss Alps, as highs only climb into the 30s and the 40s. Specifically now, London calling for a few showers on Saturday, kind of cloudy, though, for Brussels, and Munich, cloudy skies and temperatures near 55. Stay tuned. In just a few moments, we take a look at your weekend outlook.
How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Only a few days left to take advantage of this special offer from AT&T. Listen.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance.
And that's not all. With AT&T Pro Watts, no special lines or equipment are needed. Get distance-sensitive pricing, get a detailed record of individual calls, and you save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call 1-800-222-0400. Remember, we'll pay to switch you over. We'll pay the installation fee, and if you're not satisfied, we'll pay to switch you back. Call now. Pro Watts offer ends April 15th.
Current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more local information here on the Weather Channel.
Thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel. We have a spring weather update coming up in just a couple of minutes with Cheryl, and now we'll check that weekend outlook. Saturday, the jet's still going far south in the eastern part of the nation and up in the west, but not quite as far on Sunday. Some disturbed weather begins to penetrate toward the northwest coast, but that jet's still pretty far down in the east. bringing you the cooler air, lakes and northeast, but escaping that and some warm air returning through the southern plains. The temperatures look like this. They are bulging down with that jet, 50s down into almost all of West Virginia, and some spring skiing in the mountains on Saturday for the few ski areas that are still open, 40s and 30s, and some cool weather in the Rockies, but the 70s arcing their way up into parts of Montana and around Gillette, Wyoming, and possibly Casper, with some 80s clear up into Nevada, the Redding, Red Bluff area, hundreds in the desert southwest, with the dry weather to go along with it, but a chance of some light rain, parts of Oregon and Washington on the coast, and with a front and a low pressure developing around North Carolina, more rain on the east coast, and you don't need any more right now in the eastern North Carolina, but it looks like you'll get it. Showers ending on the western edge of that area for Saturday, and then Sunday, a few scattered areas with some snow in the north and some rain showers in Florida with some dry weather in the west. And to go along with that, some hot weather again, hundreds and 90s in the desert. But look at this 80 and 70 area bulging on up through the Great Plains as that jet stream sort of bumps up through the middle. And then the jet dipping brings you some 40s in the upper Midwest and New England with some warm, but not really hot weather in the southeast. Here's Cheryl.
Thanks a lot, Mike. And now stay tuned for your local forecast, sponsored by GMAC. GMAC can make your automotive dreams come true with financing or smart lease.
Get real value, America, with GMAC financing as low as 2.9 annual percentage rate on GM's most popular new cars and light trucks. From Chevrolet, Geo, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, and GMC Truck. This is GMAC's lowest rate since 1987. See your participating GM dealer for details on a real value. GMAC's driven down its rate so you can drive down the road with 2.9% GMAC financing.
For your nearest General Motors dealer, see the current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
Checking out your spring weather, and in some cases we're seeing some snow, but in other cases we're seeing some April rain showers. Here's a look at the current weather map. A very quiet day overall in the east and likewise for the west, but as we head on down towards Texas, we've had this front kind of stalled out in the northern Gulf, and upper level disturbance too riding out of Texas, setting the stage for a lot of showers and some storms. We've also had some very hefty thunderstorms just south of Louisiana today. A rough day for boating, needless to say, over the western Gulf. But meanwhile, lots of rains developing throughout eastern Texas and Louisiana. Especially true in Texas, though. We have had copious rainfall amounts. Leading the list, Kingsville, Texas. Almost 2 3/4 of an inch of rainfall across that region. Then Stephenville, well over 2 inches of rainfall today. And some hefty rainfall amounts, too, for Corpus Christi, Dallas, and San Antonio. And yet through this afternoon, we're expecting more rains to hit eastern Texas and Louisiana, possibly a ½ an inch to a full inch of rainfall from around Memphis and Dyersburg and over towards eastern Texas. But right along the immediate Gulf Coast there, maybe an inch or more rainfall not out of the question. And because we have already had some heavier rains across this region earlier today, and that on top of the additional rains, well, that could pose a problem with some flooding, so be extra cautious out there, especially if you live in one of those low-lying areas or one of those poorly drained areas. Well, then you might see some flooding problems developing later on today. To the north, though, in the colder area, we've seen some snow. We had some pretty good snows earlier today around Sault Ste. Marie. They had moderate snows, and through this afternoon, maybe a chance for 1 to 3 inches of snowfall from the Keweenaw Peninsula and back over towards around Marquette and Sault Ste. Marie. Well, that's a look at your spring weather update, but stay tuned. Coming up in the next few minutes, we'll have Mike Bono. He'll be detailing the traveling weather across the country, trying to highlight where you might encounter some trouble spots if you're doing some traveling on this Friday afternoon.
The gold standard. Over time, there has never been anything to take its place, simply because there's nothing quite as good as gold. Now the Monarch Group is pleased to make you this golden get-acquainted offer. A 1-ounce U.S. gold Eagle coin for only $379. That's below market value. Due to the volatility of the gold market, we can only guarantee this offer for 48 hours, and Monarch reserves the right to limit offer to 1 gold Eagle per customer. So call now. The number is 1-800-245-9393. 1-800-245-9393. That's the number to call to place your order for a 1-ounce U.S. gold Eagle coin for just $379. If you're not completely satisfied, of course, we'll send you your money back. So call now. This is one offer that's just as good as gold.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Now it's time for the Michelin Driver's Report. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. Well, we've got that rainy travel area, and this is, well, what you're seeing now is only the half of it. Parts of Texas on into Louisiana, Arkansas, now McAllister, Oklahoma, and just branching into Missouri. But from western Tennessee, that rain will spread into eastern Tennessee, from where it is now in Mississippi on into parts of Alabama, and eventually Georgia by day's end. This is the area in the Gulf states, the showery area in parts of Texas, and another showery area with a quick-moving cool front into parts of lower Michigan. But as you can see, no organized areas of precipitation in the western United States. Thunderstorm intensity could be getting on the strong side, Texas, Louisiana, maybe bordering on severe around the Arklatex later in the day, and we're seeing the threat of some strong storms on into South Florida, too. You'll have your windy travel, especially tomorrow. You're going to get very windy in the northern Rockies and prairies, but today, upper Midwest with some snowflakes around Duluth, the wind makes it feel even cooler, and most of the heart of the Great Lakes getting a little bit of that windy travel, too. Stay tuned. We have your current weather roundup coming up in just a minute.
I run every day, and I know what happens when these roads get bad. So when I had to buy tires, I looked at them all. You know what impressed me? Michelin's all-season radio. It's called the XA4. It really holds the road. The handling's great, and 'cause it's Michelin, you know it's gonna last. Believe me, only Michelin radios are going between us and this road.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.